Bienvenidos, señoras y señores, to another episode of Los Terricolas podcast, the show where we bring our unique ideas and stories to you while sharing the same ground we all do. I'm your host, Greg, and with me as always is Urban, and today we got special guest Chris Gonzales. What's going on, man? From Athleisure?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
We got ourselves another podcaster in the house.
Finally, dude.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it's a great space, especially being that pretty much people can't go anywhere. But guys, I'll just talk a little bit about myself first.
Go for it,
with
bro.
these lovely gentlemen that
Thank you, sir.
that have decided to invite me to their lovely establishment here. So guys, so I am Hispanic, but I grew up with my English-speaking parents. So yeah, no. So if I mispronounce anything here, you can feel free to roast me in the comments. But yes, one, I just want to say very good morning, Terricolas family.
Yeah.
See what I did there? A little bit of the voice.
Did you practice that?
Actually, I did. So I am an Army officer stationed at Fort Bliss. I am from the lovely place called Maryland. You know, I kind of exclude Baltimore. We don't talk about that over there. Ocean City. I'm an online health coach for about 2 years. I'm not very big on Instagram, but I'm going to try and be. I'm very big on LinkedIn. You know, I just preach healthy habits. Former nationally ranked powerlifter at 66 kilos, 143 pounds. But now I just like to lift heavy, run fast, and don't worry about other people's bullshit because that's what causes stress. But that's a little bit about me.
That was a good intro right there.
Yeah, so I do run a podcast called Athleisure where fun meets health, wellness, and fitness, and I pretty much talk to an array of people, ranging from powerlifting world champions. I've actually had the Red Power Ranger on there. That guy's pretty fucking sweet. Yeah, freaking William Schufeld. Actually, I'm gonna tag him in the comments because like that's my boy. He keeps trying to get me to do carnivore diet, but I do a lot of cardio, so you know, no carbs was probably not the way for me. But that guy's fucking shredded. You should follow him as well. And yeah, I mean, I love the city of El Paso. The people are friendly. You know, it's like, you know, it's different than like Austin or like Houston. You know, I feel like I'm from here like so much. There was one time where, you know, some chick posted an article like on freaking Instagram and be like, oh yeah, you know, according to BuzzFeed, which is bullshit by the way. You know,
What? Really?
Yeah, no. Hold on, wait. I'm gonna keep getting into it. I was like, yeah. So it was like El Paso men are top 10 ugliest in the United States. Wait. Hold on.
I heard that.
Yeah, absolutely. That was complete bullshit because they had nothing to rank it on. So like, I took offense to that article, and that's how I knew that I love this city. I was about to message her back and blow her up, and then I remember at the very last second that I'm actually from Maryland. So that's what I think. The food's good, the people's good. And yeah, guys, stay the fuck inside though. Like out of all the Texas cities, we won't be getting back to normal anytime soon, guys. So like, you can do everything online: church, podcasting. You know, I Zoom with my friends back home. I Zoom with my clients. So guys, come on, be smart about it. We're gonna reach the peak soon, but in order to go back down, we have to abide by social distancing.
True.
Like, so just a little bit of a history lesson, right? So people think like, okay, this is like unconstitutional this, unconstitutional that.
Oh yeah, why are people saying that, dude? Explain that.
Which because one, my generation doesn't fucking know how to read a
Explain
history
that.
book. So, 1918, there's this outbreak of a disease that actually killed a lot more people per capita called Spanish influenza. So you'll look on every advertisement anywhere. It's like, okay, all of the churches, business, like this is mayors and countries everywhere, not just us. All the churches, businesses, you know, everywhere where they have human gatherings, no more than 10, and you will not open your business until further notice. Like, what does that sound like? Like, this is on walls. Like, someone printed me out like a gray picture of this, and I'm like, okay, so like we haven't learned from the past at all. So guys, this shit works if you actually follow it. But the one time in humanity that we don't, we're fucking it up right now. So just keep that in mind. This is actually like, this shit works if you actually do it.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, got a little bit of, oh yeah, and I am an amateur photographer and videographer as well.
Damn, dude.
That's me in a nutshell.
I don't even know where to start.
I think that's awesome. I love it when guests come here and they just kind of take over a little bit. Because this is like It makes our job easier.
It does.
When you just come over here.
It makes mine too. Like, if I
And
have
you
a
could
subject
tell
matter expert.
you have the gift of gab, my friend.
You do.
You have the gift of gab, so you definitely keep it up, man.
Let's start this conversation in 1918. So just
Oh
kidding.
shit! I was about to say I know about just that.
Man, I was only about. I was kidding.
Let's take it back.
Shoot.
I was just a young fetus.
I remember when I was that age.
Oh yeah.
Nah, dude, thank you again. Badass introduction. Thank you for being here, my dude. You're actually a really genuinely nice guy, it comes across right away. Even from the messages when we were talking to you, we're like, man, this guy's a really honest,
down to
nice
earth
guy. Down to earth guy. So thank you for coming, dude. And the first thing I wanted to talk to you about was we're both in the podcasting world. So I just wanted to ask you your experiences, anything that you've learned about yourself throughout this process that you've been going through the podcast.
Well, guys, for the number one thing, so one, don't pay $400, and you're going to see this a lot, especially with new podcasters advertising, because like we're kind of in a space right now where you're kind of sitting at home. So okay, all right, I'm gonna go start this podcast. Everything you can learn about finding a podcast, you can find it on YouTube for free. Don't pay $400 for somebody's bullshit course. Like someone tried to do that to me twice back in January.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, no, like I literally watched a 10-minute YouTube video and it brought me all the way from RSS feed to, hey, this is how you should structure. This is how you should reach out to guests. And yeah, guys, like don't fall for the scams. Like you have the power of the internet, which is only about 5 pounds when you condense it together.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I know science, right?
Hold on. Let's not move from that yet. Explain that. 5 pounds?
Yeah, so like okay, so like so this was from the data scientist Elon Musk, and there's another one called Komodo Health. They actually did a study on this. If you were to take the internet, like the actual construct, and condense it together, it weighs about 4.96 pounds. So so I don't know. I'm not going to pretend I know the science behind that, but in this episode, Komodo Health has a little Instagram infographic. I'll link that in there. I'm like, damn, I figured it'd be a little bit heavier than that, but I guess it's not.
Yeah, right.
Curl that shit.
I mean, the physical hardware is probably way more heavier than that.
Yeah, definitely.
All the wires,
Oh, hell yeah.
That's weird though. So like memory has weight?
Apparently, yeah, but it doesn't weigh that much.
I mean, I guess air technically has weight as well. So.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Like the way that these El Paso women be jumping to conclusions.
Whoa!
Sorry, guys. This is the only I love being a guest on podcasts because one, it's less work for me. Two, I get to shoot the shit. So anyway, going back to podcast here, right? So yeah, so one, YouTube and Google will be your best friend, or if anything else, just fucking ask somebody that has a podcast, and you'll find there's plenty of podcast hosting websites. There's plenty of different ways. Like for me, I use Buzzsprout for everything.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, because it can take my podcast, and if I put it on Apple, it'll go to Spotify, and from Spotify it goes to iHeartRadio and then other stuff. So yeah, guys, so just use other people's prior advice. Like podcasting, this isn't hard. Like, let's be real. And then anything don't be afraid to start with low budget shit. Like, yeah, I use $150 mic, but I mean. I've seen people that have way more listens to me that are still using basic shit, and they won't upgrade until their shit gets monetized, which is very commendable, which leads me to my next point. Niche, right? So, I mean, just find one and be you with it. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, you need to find a niche that nobody else is doing or you won't be successful. And I'm like, I like to work out, and I like to have fun. And I like to preach learnable skills. I put all that together, and boom, there's my podcast.
That's cool that you say that, dude. I've learned a little bit about myself in that way. That at first it's like a little bit competitive in my mind, at least. It's like, damn, like we got to be good. We got to be better than this other thing, or to get viewers, right? But then I realize what you're saying, the whole niche thing. Like, I feel like just by being yourself and being genuinely yourself, you create this little niche for yourself, Especially since there's 3 of us and we all have such different personalities. Like, it, just our individuality allows us to have a conversation with somebody like you, right? You go to another person's podcast, you're not going to have the same conversation as you have with us. So, there is no competition, Everything else is, at least in my mind, everybody is presenting a different product. Compared to somebody else.
Yeah.
Oh, we got our boy here.
Oh shit.
Well, I mean, it always, and you brought up a good point, because it always speaks to like the quality of the conversation is usually what matters, right? Because it's subject matter, but also the quality. And like you said, you don't need to go out and spend that much money. And I always praise Irvin for challenging us to make it as simple as possible. Because when we started, man, we were shooting with a shotgun mic pointed at all three of us. That's it. Connected directly to the camera. That's it. That's all we were doing. No expensive setup, no nothing. We were yelling at each other. You know, we were like cutting each other off. And that's why, but it turns out that's what people want to see. That's why people like to watch us, is because it's just us having a conversation. So, you know, I think that's very important that you guys realize that if you're trying to start a podcast or a YouTube channel or anything like that, just be yourself and ultimately make the content that you want to make, and the rest of it will come.
It's more fun being yourself too.
Oh yeah, and like absolutely.
Easier.
And like, guys, just think about it as like investment in the bank, right? Like, you know, any long-term investment. Like, you know, I'm like a big stocks guy.
Oh, Greg is too.
And
sorry.
We will talk later. Yeah, so I'm like a big stocks guy, right? And like, you'll see like the immediate. So you don't ever want to see, especially my generation, Gen Zers. I fucking hate this about us, and I hate this about. Yeah, so freaking, you guys are expecting to get like fucking famous, which is not what I'm trying to do on my podcast. But freaking, luckily, I've had success early, just based on the world champions I've had, the content, you know, the freaking mental health experts and stuff. But like, guys, long-term investment here, you know. You'll look back if you podcast for like a year, because there's this trend called pod fading, right? And that's when people average about 7 episodes and they're like, oh, this isn't working for me. And you know, how mentally tough does that make you sound when you just fucking quit, right? Like, I'm gonna be doing this unless something physically, you know, incapacitates me or something. I'm gonna do one every single Friday, and then you'll look back a year from now, and like, people are gonna be able to like freaking research you. You'll have like hundreds of episodes, and they're like, oh my god, he did it with this guy, he did it with that guy. And, you know, that's how podcasting works, man. Like,
he did it with that guy.
And investing in long-term, I think
He's doing everybody.
he's whoring himself out for everybody.
Hold on. So what is it that you like about it then? Like, because you're saying you're not doing it for fame. So what would you say is your driving force?
I mean, like, let's be real, right? Just be able to let your feelings out, because, like, I'm an Army officer. I go to the gym religiously after work every day. I catch up with my clients, which, like, a few of them are actually not in this fucking hemisphere. And, like, I just build up that stress, and it just feels good to, like, be able to, like, release it. And then also, like, it's just practice for, like, you know, like, I'm a ACE, I'm American Council on Exercise Personal Trainer. I'm a certified strength and conditioning specialist through the National Strength and Conditioning Association, Army fitness trainer, you know, so I'm very qualified. But I always like to sound educating when it comes to that type of stuff. So that just gives me an opportunity to kind of like hear myself, you know, from the back, be like, do I know what I'm talking about? It's like when my clients hit me up later, I can be like, okay, so why is my bench press not working? Oh yeah, you're not creating a moment arm, which is making all this force production not come up and stuff like that. But it sounds good in my head, but you know, it's about communication is 2 ways. Freaking the message given out is always not received well by everybody. So it just gives me a chance, you know, I look at everything as a chance to learn, right? Like, podcasting, it gives you a very unique opportunity to like test your skills to communicate. Because your like idea or your business or anything is only as good as you can pitch it, you know? So that's what I like about podcasting. You know, you have an opportunity to be yourself, and like whenever you get done with an episode, no matter how shitty of a day I've had, you know, I feel accomplished. Click, edit.
It's true, huh? It's like that sense of accomplishment, that sense of like you did something pretty cool today. Where it's
yeah, absolutely.
One of the biggest things, we're always big proponents of like expanding your knowledge, like, and we always felt that the way to do that is by talking to completely different people all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to. I think that's when that's how culture started, right? When everybody starts to like, hey man, it's a really meeting of the mind around here. You know, everybody's just like agreeing with each other all the time. And we don't do that. Like in this podcast, I disagree with Irvin, especially constantly.
It's because we're very different people.
Yeah, but that's what helps. You know what I'm saying? And if I didn't have that opportunity for him to tell me something that I would never think. You know, I would never put those phrases together in that sort of way. Then maybe I would have been closed. You know, I'd be missing out on some valuable information. So I think that's very good that you bring that out. It is the power of knowledge, because knowledge for me, I like to think of it as creating opportunities for yourself. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you do is a cause and effect, and it creates an opportunity to do something else. You know, a stepping stone, if you will. So, yeah, man, I think that's awesome. that you found something and you found a reason to just do this. I did want to talk to you about the visual thing because I know you were talking about cameras and everything. So do you find it a little bit? Okay, would you be interested in doing a video format? I guess let's start there.
Oh yeah, like absolutely. I mean, I see like a lot of the big podcasts that always do like Mind Pump and Joe Rogan's podcast.
Right.
I mean, they have all sorts of visuals on that, and like it's nothing more than just them talking, but like
Pretty much.
But like it's an unreal experience where you can see like their facial expressions and be like, oh, I didn't agree with this. Or like, oh, that's wild. Or
Right.
yeah, and like stuff like that. So yeah, absolutely. Like, in the future, I definitely would be interested.
And there is something that I'm not to say that you can't listen to an audio podcast and not take something out of it, but like, because I've listened to Joe Rogan and just like the podcast form, and there is something missing. I think it's maybe you think it's like you get used to that, you get conditioned to that certain thing. So like, I don't know, because like we talk about that sometimes, like, hey, we might want to do this just the audio, right? Send it out on iTunes, but I feel like a little bit of it will be lost in translation.
I think
you know what
the
I mean?
audio is just another tool though for like, cause like when I'm driving, we had a few people hit us up and they're like, hey dude, you don't want to push your stuff just in audio because hey, my phone battery will die when they're watching like their YouTube videos or whatever, or like if they're driving they can't really listen to it unless the video is playing or whatever. So I mean it does have its benefits, but like there is something else to the visual experience of watching someone talk and expressions. I mean, don't they say communication's like 80% body language or something?
Yeah.
It's very little,
Something like that.
it's very little of what you actually say. It's more of your
How you
actions.
say it.
Yeah, or even like, hey, like you want to fight?
We're Hispanic. We talk with our hands a lot.
Like you want to fight, or it's like,
What the hell?
fight? You know what I mean? It's like different. Look at this. You see? This
I
is
mean,
like, do you really
what?
take this as dangerous? Like, you want to fight?
Oh
you
my
know?
God.
If I'm humping the
I mean,
air.
I wouldn't want to fight somebody who's doing that. Speaking of fighting,
Oh boy.
so let me ask you something, man. I'm gonna ask you a stupid question. So, how much do you like wrestling?
Man, I wrestled in college, and like, okay,
Yeah,
so guys, just
you-
fucking disclaimer here. This guy said he stalked my Instagram, which is actually perfectly fine because, I appreciate that someone would do that because most
Yeah.
women I've met in El Paso don't. So,
You have to, man. You got to do your research,
yeah.
right?
So,
Yeah, man. I'll just ask you because you've come a long way. Back since Snow Hill Eagles.
Damn!
Okay,
You
then.
know,
God
7th place in the Maui Nationals.
damn. I literally so fucking.
You still
pissed I
salty
didn't-
about that a
Yeah,
little
because
bit?
like each match I had, I lost by 1 fucking point in that one. So like the difference between, but the guy that won first, I probably
Yeah.
could have fucking beat if I don't know, if I was a little bit better. Yeah, guys. So just a little bit of athletic background around me. So like I played football in high school. Wasn't very good because they put me at wide receiver because I'm about 5'5". And, that's not very good for catching the ball. Yeah, and I got big into wrestling, right? So like the mental toughness aspect of it, which kind of carried on into the military, then kind of carried on into health coaching, carried on into podcasts. I'm big in athletics, but freaking wrestling is just one of those sports. In basketball, you can lose a game, you can be like, oh, the point guard fucking sucks, but then you go out there like it's like a gladiator sport. At its very primal instincts, right?
Yes.
You're trying to score all these points, and like it's just fucking tiring, man. Like that shit's tiring. Trying to steer the human body, score points in a time limit. Like 7 minutes doesn't seem like a long time, but on the wrestling mat, when somebody else is literally trying to kill you, sometimes it's pretty bad. So yeah, I mean, just the grind process. A lot of great. Freaking wrestling athletes have ended up being great UFC athletes, ended up being great business owners. And, that's kind of just goes back to the point, letting a coach be hard on you because it creates coachable adults later. That's one of the only sports that you get that one-on-one with. Like with football, you have the coach frying up the whole team. But with wrestling, it's like one weight class at a time. Be like, what the fuck? You got tired. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. So, yeah, I mean, I like encourage wrestling, and like I'm so glad that the Olympics got moved to next year because freaking wrestling doesn't get enough credit, like for any factor. Like most of the UFC world champions have started out at wrestling, right? Freaking Daniel Cormier, Khabib, like you name it, and they normally end up being like some of the better ones too. Like when you got the ground game, like everybody can throw hands, but like what happens when you get in? Like what happens when you get on the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, you saw Ronda Rousey first she went to fake wrestling, which I will forever, I will forever hate her after that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, in fact, she can go fuck herself. Even
Whoa.
though she can probably beat me up, like
Dude,
I'm
Rhonda's
not,
our biggest fan, man. You just ruined this.
I
No,
mean,
she's never
shit.
gonna watch the show again.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I will tag her in it too, even though she'll never see me.
I just don't like her mole.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that she thinks that WWE is not more than an acting game. But yeah, guys, I like encourage. Yeah, I encourage that everybody should do some type of combative sport. Like it makes it so much easier for me to not go out or staying in hustle, staying in invest. It all started from there. Like anything I've done in the Army physically has not matched up to shit I've done in the wrestling room because I've lost there's been 10-pound practices and be okay. You've lost 10 pounds, go outside and go run the mountains in West Virginia and come back later and tear conditioning doesn't fucking suck. So
You wrestled in college, you said?
yeah, I wrestled at 125 pounds and I'm never making that weight again. I'm 155 right now if anybody wants to.
125.
Yeah, so 125. Yeah, I mean shit, man. I'm not saying that I would go odds and ends to make money, but you got to do what you got to do.
Do you know what weight Cejudo wrestled at?
He's lightweight and bantamweight champ, yeah?
But in wrestling, I think they go lighter. Do you remember?
So the lowest weight class is 125, then he goes 133,
Yeah.
141, 149, 57, 65, and so on and so forth.
So you'd probably have to have wrestled him. Did you ever consider trying out for the Olympics?
Okay.
135?
Yeah, so he would be like a 133 pounder college. So we do what's called America is a little bit different with most things we do, but we have folk style, which is only done in American college wrestling in high school, and then you have freestyle, which is the international, and then you have Greco. So freaking freestyle wrestling, which is really cool to watch, right? So you're scoring points based on if you can take the guy down to the mat, if you can expose his back, that's 2 points. If you have a variety of throws. If you just take the guy and you do a 360, that's 5.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have 3-point throws, and then you get points for pushing a guy out of bounds too.
Yeah.
So that's the international style. I tried that a few times. I was decent at it. Freaking Greco, that one is what separates the boys from the men. So you cannot touch the legs. You get points for simply who can just launch each other in the air.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to answer your question, I mean, I wouldn't be very competitive because it's kind of you've got to learn the rules of the game. So you normally have to get through a series of tournaments, then you have to qualify for the Olympic trials, which is normally held in Iowa City, but it was going to be in Pennsylvania this year. I was actually going to go fly and watch it. But yeah, to answer your question, that really wasn't on my mind because you need a lot of training, and if you're not familiar with that style, because if you literally just go to your back like an instant, you're getting scored on.
Yeah. So which style do you think translates better to MMA from those three?
Oh man, if you can be good at all three of them, honestly, there's something you can take from all three of them. If you're able to throw a guy upper body, that's money. If you can hit a double leg takedown on somebody, that's money. If you can learn how to keep somebody down on the octagon, that's money. So all three of them actually translate perfectly, honestly.
I think the more popular one lately has been folk style. Ben Askren's more of a folk style type of guy, huh?
Oh yeah, he was big at Missouri, won 2 NCAA titles, undefeated in Bellator. Didn't do so hot in UFC.
Right.
As you saw with Maldasov, I was talking so much shit at the bar, and then he gets knocked out. I was like, all right, you know what? He's still undefeated in Bellator.
Which means nothing, dude.
I mean, pretty much compared to UFC. But I'm like, how are you gonna talk shit and then go out there and do that?
It's next level stuff, dude. But yeah, him and I believe Khabib has a bit of a mix between folk style.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they're pretty good.
Bear style.
And then when you get and then it flows so well with everything. If you're a good striker, and it just kind of goes and oh yeah, you have a black belt to add to that, and then oh yeah, I won silver at the Olympics. And I'm gonna use this wrestling experience and throw somebody. So I mean, it's just a beautiful mix. If you can be the complete fighter, it's kind of like a video game. Oh yeah, he's 100 here, 98 there, 80 here, but he's a 60 in takedown defenses.
So you watch a lot of UFC?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Who's your guys? And girls, of course.
Yeah, so freaking, I actually was a big Ronda Rousey fan because I watched her Olympic stuff back in the day before she was big in UFC and judo and stuff. Honestly, like the women's side, she was the only one that really electrified. I mean, yeah, Misha Tate was cool, but
Wrestling, yeah.
yeah. And Holly Holm, big respect. She's not scared to go out there and just take on anybody. I mean, she fought Cyborg, but Cyborg takes fucking something. So I don't even think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's a monster, dude. She's a beast.
Um,
We got Tatiana Suarez now. She's a wrestler as well. I
Yeah.
think she wrestled. I'm not sure where, but she's really good.
Amanda Nunez,
yeah,
I would
she's
tell
dope.
her straight on freight train double leg takedown is money, and it works with her ground game as well. So
Yeah.
that's why she's kicking so much ass. Like she's already low to the ground, she can get under opponents
Yeah.
and throw off their center of gravity.
She's got
Like,
long ass arms too, dude.
yeah, and like some people who aren't combative athletes, like they watch this stuff and they're just like, oh yeah, they're throwing each other. But like I can get in a room with my boys who've done this in the past, be like, oh shit, that goddamn ankle pick was
Yeah,
sweet. Oh
yeah.
my god, and like
It's
it
the little
makes
subtleties, huh?
yeah, it makes it so much better to watch too. Like you can know like when you have a combative athlete going against somebody isms, like oh yeah, he's about to put this work in.
Yeah.
Which is then as far as the male side, George St. Pierre was my boy until he took so many injuries, and he's very technically sound. He could have been one of the greatest ever, honestly.
And he wasn't even a wrestler, dude. This
yeah,
guy-
he was just brute strength.
Well, he just learned
yeah.
like he didn't wrestle college. He didn't wrestle high school or anything. I think this guy was more of a karate guy, and I think
Yeah.
what got him to be able to wrestle so well was that in and out movement that they have in karate. I think
Yeah.
it really helped him out with his shots, like speedy shots with the doubles.
Yeah, and then big ups to my wrestling fam, like Chris Weidman, fucking Daniel Cormier, like big guy. Like I was going to his wrestling camps growing
Nice.
up. Fucking John Jones, big wrestler as well. Fucking Deron Wynn, great upcoming guy. He's like 5-2 right now.
Okay.
But he was one of the guys that went straight from the wrestling circuit, fell right into UFC, and like he went 5-0 before he lost his last two to like very questionable cause. So like it just and my biggest inspiration ever, Henry Cejudo,
Yeah.
all the way down at the lowest weight class, the messenger, like guy's a fucking beast. Like he won Olympic gold in 2008. So like as you can see, like just wrestlers do it better on that circuit.
I would think that and wrestlers would be fantastic at something like UFC, just because people see wrestling, traditional wrestling. We're talking about it's a lot of discipline and it's a lot of technique.
Yeah.
Because there's actually a lot of rules. I was only in it briefly in high school, and I remember like you couldn't put your hand in certain places. Like when you start on top, like you say, nope, you can't have your hand there. Like that's a fall. And I was like, what is happening? Like I'm just putting my hand on someone's tummy. Like
Someone's tummy.
little things like that. Like you have to have that. You can't just choke somebody out. You can't interlock your fingers. Little things like that. I remember stuff like that. And I would think that once you get to this position where you're disciplined and you know it, you know every single technique, and you get to somewhere like UFC, it's like, oh, well, now you can really fuck somebody up, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I can actually, you know what I'm saying? So I think it makes perfect sense that people like wrestlers are just killing it.
Well, they were killing it. And then
do you mean
the
were?
game has evolved quite a bit to where now they've not necessarily been figured out, but a lot of guys have excelled against wrestlers a lot better, like Israel Adesanya, who once you learn, yeah, exactly. I guess people strikers are now starting to learn how to underhook and how to whizzer and how to actually not let them take them down.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of the takedowns in the UFC now come from the cage. It's more of a in the cage. So like now they're trying to figure that out. And also, you know how wrestlers have that base where you're always they leave their legs open quite a bit to leg attacks as well. So that's something else that jiu-jitsu guys are figuring. No, Khabib is a beast. Khabib has a fucking heavy ass.
But he's a good striker too. Well, I mean, we're talking about just wrestling, but the thing is that to be a overall well-rounded fighter, you have to have multiple styles.
Sure,
it's not just about,
He did hit him with that right.
Dude, nobody was expecting that. Not even McGregor. He literally went like, whoa.
It's because that's the badass thing about
What is
wrestling.
happening?
They got you worried about the takedown. You're over here trying to defend, and you just leave yourself
It's because
open.
he's been on
you can
lots of
throw
street
that.
fight. When you street fight, you know
Never
street
street
fight.
fight.
When you street fight, I love that was my favorite. That press conference with him and Ferguson.
Yeah, he combines that takedown with that overhand really nicely, and then GSP would combine that jab. He'd start off with the jab, and then you think the
Yo,
jab's
he was
coming,
nasty with it,
and then he comes under with the takedown, dude. Yeah. But you said you were a big fan of. I don't really hear a lot of people say they're fans of Cejudo because a lot of people hate that guy.
I mean, they
Why?
he hate him.
Is it his hair?
People hate
'Cause
him,
he's
but he
cringy.
does the fucking
Está
business.
cabezón el way. He's got a big head.
Yeah, I mean, as a person, he's a piece of shit. But as a fighter, like I respect
feel
his
like-
style.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like if you grab him, like if he like just went like that and you threw him up, he would like
Just land.
turn and like
Hell yeah.
land
Like
his
a cat.
face because he's just that head.
You watched him through his come up in wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like a lot of these fighters, like I've been watching them. Like I've been to some of their camps when I was like 13 and 14, just
Nice.
watching them just like step on the scene and
Yeah,
fuck
yeah,
it
I
up.
get you, brother.
Like immediately, Henry Cejudo hopped in like the what's the lightest weight? Like 135. Like what's the
Isn't
name?
it
of
light,
In
super
MMA?
lightweight
Yeah.
or lightweight?
Yeah, 125. It's
Yeah, so, like-
straw weight, I believe.
Yeah.
No, that's for
Oh
boxing.
yeah, that's
Sorry.
in female.
I like immediately watched this guy.
No,
go
bantamweight,
Like he
135.
literally won the Olympics in
Yeah.
2008. Literally made it to like literally made it to like the belt match. You know, lost it by like a little. He went through his redemption journey and won it again. I'm like, dude, this guy
Yeah.
had barely any striking experience, but people told him that.
Yeah.
You know, the first thing I saw was his double leg. I'm like, I watched him hit that against Japan.
Nice.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like those skills just kind of don't go away.
Yeah.
So,
Dude,
yeah.
and I think he's the type of guy who needs a really big challenge.
Yeah.
Because I understand also he won it. He was the youngest, one of the youngest, right? To like.
Oh yeah, he was literally until Kyle Snyder broke his record by like only like a few months in 2016. He was literally the youngest guy, and like this guy went from college because college to freestyle is a different ball game, right?
Yeah.
So like so if you guys ever watched a freestyle match before, like you're not doing much of like trying to. So they only give you so much time to turn the guy on top before they whistle it. You guys are both back on your feet, and they're trying to take each other down again. So it's a lot more cardio. It's a lot more all that. So this guy literally went from college wrestling, did 1 year in the senior circuit, qualified for the Olympics, won the Olympics, went from the Olympics to UFC, almost won it the whole thing his
Against
first
the
time.
number one pound for pound.
Yeah,
at
like
the time.
and like literally, if you ask me, like he fucking won that match. But it's up to the fit. Like I'm not gonna like it was a very close match. It's really up to the officials because I wasn't there. But if it was up to me being biased towards the wrestling community, he fucked it up with his leg kicks, his ground game, and freaking everything. So
No, he's a beast, dude.
Yeah. No, nothing. It's an interesting thing, right? Like when you get down to like how do you grade a fight?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
especially in UFC, like now that I've noticed, like they have like a really bad angle
yeah, they do.
to watch any of these calls. Huh?
Use weights that leaves a big impression on me. Because I've always been,
The guys, the buff guys.
yeah, always been like into Goku and stuff.
Oh, okay.
See big guys, you automatically expect them to do.
Yeah.
To destroy.
Yeah.
Like
Hey, the
Yoel.
bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Are you a fan of Yoel Romero?
Yeah, he's
guy's-
that guy. But my boy,
Brock?
but my boy Chris Weidman.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, he was a wrestler too, 3-time All-American. He defeated him. So
Dude, and he has that nice, really, really nice single. Chris Weidman, I love his single leg takedown.
actually, speaking of Romero, right? That guy, won silver in the Olympics. He beat Cael Sanderson, who's
Twice.
considered one of the best of all time. So guys, freaking wrestlers own the scene. You know,
Yeah.
they own the scene. Yeah.
I think one of the best wrestlers that ever came in the UFC was a little guy named CM Punk. Have you ever heard of that guy?
Yeah.
Oh, man,
No,
dude.
I'm just
Fuck yeah.
Best have you ever seen?
I remember when I first saw that guy's body. I was like, oh.
He's a good looking guy, man.
CM Punk? Nah,
He's a
not
good looking
really.
dude.
I was gonna ask you because Yoel Romero's a physical specimen, dude. How much do you think genetics and like your body, your
Oh, man,
anatomy
for
has
sure.
to do
Yeah,
with
so-
with your success?
Remind me what country he's from. He's from Cuba.
Yoel, he's Cuban, yeah.
Okay, so
Cubano.
if you were to take the Cuban wrestling team, just look these guys up, right? So
Yeah.
these guys are notorious. Like all of them are all like jacked as fuck. Like no matter what weight class, like 7% body fat. And like they are notorious for like they're known on the world circuit for just doing all sorts of crazy throws, like throwing
Yeah.
people out of bounds,
Yeah,
fiving
yeah, yeah.
people. Like that's what their whole team is. So genetics, yes, absolutely. I mean, I don't know what their training style is to like throw people like the way they do. Like they find some creative ways to throw
Yeah.
people.
He has
Like,
really nice trips.
yeah, so their whole team is like that. So I mean, yeah, I don't know
crazy.
what's in the water in Cuba, but hey, fucking
No,
shit.
but I mean, as far as like, okay, John Jones, this guy has like an 87-inch reach. Like, how is that fair?
87.
You know what I mean? How is that fair? And how do you he's
Hey,
gonna
man.
wrap your legs like nothing.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Well.
you gotta be able, like, the only person that can defeat John Jones is John Jones. But yeah, I won't even elaborate on that as much.
Maybe COVID could do it.
Yeah, maybe, because if that's not the case, then drinking while driving will.
There you go.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, like, it really just depends. Like, you got to be able to play through their style. Like, yeah, he's got a long reach, but a fighter has to be able to, like, be able to have good enough motion to get past his defense, and if when he gets on his offense, you got to be able to create angles.
Yeah.
Either spin behind or don't get taken down.
It's a
Because
game of chess.
it is points when you get taken down in UFC as well.
Yeah.
Which is what I think in a close fight. That's what most wrestlers think about. So.
See, that's what Greg was saying. How
Yeah.
like the judging system is really off because, I mean, everybody mentions this. It's like, what do you consider more effective, a punch to the face or a leg kick? You know, or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a takedown. Or do you hold control? Do you prioritize control over position? You know, like
Right.
I mean, I don't think so. I don't think it's that jaded because when you have two fighters that are like identical skill sets, okay, what's going to be the determining factor? Like, yeah, freaking, you guys both hit each other in the face about equal amount of times.
Right, but who did much damage?
But like,
Right.
whose ground game was better, and how do you get to the ground game? You have to take the guy down. So I'm like, you fucking earned it. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong. I think they got it right. But that's just me coming from like a wrestler standpoint, because like, how fucking boring is it to watch two people just stall the whole fight and like not do
think-
anything? They're like throw two punches and back up.
I think
I'm
it
like,
should be like Smash Brothers, dude. Like if nobody gets knocked out, there should be like a sudden death.
yeah,
And you just
absolutely.
fucking go ham.
And then
like
they-
no time limit.
and they
Everybody
drop-
just goes ham. Ah!
they drop little
Beat
weapons.
16 rounds in boxing.
There you
Oh,
go.
Yeah,
shit, dude.
boxing, yo, that's
Well,
yeah.
that's crazy. Yeah.
Then they drop little weapons like the MF
that's,
horse
yeah,
and a
that's
little bat.
different. That's different conditioning too. Like, not to say that you're not have to be conditioned to be MMA, but like to go how much is it? What is
Dude,
it now?
it's a long
12 rounds.
fucking time, man.
To go 12 rounds.
Yeah,
Like, that's
it's a long time.
insane. Like when McGregor said he was gonna do that, that's why everybody was like, that dude's not gonna make it 12 rounds.
Yeah, he made it about 3 before he started getting sloppy. And plus, the guy went from like 167 to 153 in like 2
True.
days. I'm like, from a wrestler standpoint,
Dude,
How much
That's
weight
how
would
I
you
know-
cut?
any
How much weight?
actually, so I'm actually one of the few guys on my team that did it smartly. You know, I started with like a 30-week plan where I'd drop a pound a week until I
Damn.
was within like 130 range.
there you go.
I don't know, man. Freaking cutting weight's really bad for your liver, for your
Yeah.
brain when you're dehydrated for that long.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really a fan. Yeah, there'd be some occasions where like, oh yeah, maybe I ate a little bit too much during the holiday. I maybe cut like 1 or 2 pounds, but I wasn't really a fan because I've seen some people that did that for so long and they're out of college now and they have permanent like health freaking detriments.
Right.
Or like what they call contraindications, which means because I did this later, automatically more susceptible to this, and that. So I didn't want to be that person.
I had a stupid question. I always have a stupid question about that. Why
Those are my
is it
favorite.
why is it better to cut weight? I understand you have to be lighter so you could be nimbler. I don't know if that's a word. Nimbler? But like why not
Nibbler.
Why isn't it just as good to be at your natural weight, let's say, and just be healthy and fit and just stay at your like a natural weight?
Well,
Isn't it better to do that? Like health wise?
So yeah, absolutely. Health wise, yes, but you know when it comes to the competitive spirit, a lot of people just don't give a fuck. Like,
Okay.
I know in college, like the 165 pounders are notorious for weighing 200 pounds in the off season. You know, get jacked
Damn.
as fuck. Then they'll lose the weight. You're like, yeah, they probably get down to 175, but before they start cutting weight. But they want to be as big for the weight class as possible. And like, a lot of them do it well. Yeah, but like for example, like my walking around weight in the off season is like 150, 152.
Okay.
If I tried to wrestle 157 in college, I would have to wrestle some jacked motherfucker that was 200
I guess
pounds.
that's true, yeah.
Yeah, like meanwhile, I would consider myself at 125 like pretty massive. So
It's because it's an ongoing debate whether
Yeah.
it's beneficial or not to cut weight. Because if you don't cut weight, there is that benefit of, because I think your brain takes a little longer to regain the water. So there's that little layer where if you get hit in the head, it's easier to get knocked out after you had a hard weight cut.
Right.
And there's that also that feeling of you feel fresh, you feel good without cutting weight, you know. But then size is huge
True, true.
in fighting, in wrestling especially.
No, yeah.
Like it's really difficult for a wrestler to go up in weight and have success, because if you're just gonna wrestle it, like I can't wrestle Oscar, you know what I mean? Like even if I'm a badass wrestler,
you could, but
he's really big, you know. He has like at least 50 pounds or more.
for the knees.
So like if you have a wrestling background and you're planning on going heavy, you probably should go a little lighter and have.
Yeah,
some
I get
height.
you. No,
Yeah.
actually, you know what? Now that you bring that up, I remember when like I said, I did a couple of meets, and the one meet that I didn't actually wrestle because I didn't make weight because I was being a fat ass a lot. But anyway, my friend, a little bit of a chubby guy, you know, he was a chubster.
So
and
we're freaking fat
and he was
shaming now.
160. I'll be honest.
How fucking dare you,
But
Greg?
the thing is that he was 160. He was
respect.
wrestling 160, I think, or something
Yeah.
like that. And I was like, all right, well, you know, he's not very fit, but you know, I was like, all right, he's 160. But then here comes his opponent, and I'm like, oh no, that guy
That's a
is
man.
160. You know, he's like,
Yeah, and he's probably like 200
yeah,
pounds.
and then I'm
fucking
like, oh my god, and it was like he fucking shot. He tried to sprawl out. The dude just picked him up, double leg, boom, slammed him down.
Yeah, see, there it is.
I look at my coach, and my coach goes, just stay down.
Yeah, just,
Don't try, Greg. Just
oh,
lay it.
yeah.
No, that wasn't me that got slammed, but I saw everybody heard him get slammed, and it was just like, ooh.
Yeah, and then if you think that doesn't make a difference, like freaking heavyweights, they
Yeah.
have in college, I feel bad for them. You have a cap from 235 to 295. So if you're that guy that's 240 wrestling somebody that's like 270, like you're gonna get tossed around the mat.
Yeah.
And like I've seen
Hey,
that.
hey, Chris, I want to tell you a story because it makes me laugh, and maybe it'll make you laugh because you were in wrestling, you understand how funny this might be. So we had this guy, big ass guy, and so that's the first time I ever seen a heavyweight fight. You know, they're like two bears just like
yeah,
grabbing at each other. And then my friend, the friend who got slammed, he just yells out super hard, "Shoot!" He's
Yeah.
going and we all fucking start dying. We're like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, there's
He's
no way in
fucking
hell I'm gonna get under that big motherfucker.
The fucking coach is like, no, heavyweights are different. You don't.
Yeah, I was about to say, you've seen freaking. If you've ever seen an undersized heavyweight take on a big one, if he shoots him, it's just like. It's
Sandwich.
Yeah, it's just like done. He
said-
fucking spins behind it.
Ow.
It's over from that.
Were you a fan of Kane?
Who? Kane from
Nah.
WWE?
Arizona.
Not
He
really.
wrestled in ASU. I think. right?
Nah, I wasn't a fan.
Of who?
The last quest?
Velasquez.
Yeah.
Oh, Kane Velasquez.
Yeah, I mean, I watched him a lot. I just wasn't a fan of him.
Nah.
Nah.
Cause going back to your like you're Hispanic, right? You said.
Yes.
What's your back? Like, what are your parents?
What are you?
Yeah,
are you?
so actually, a lot
What's
of
the
people,
right way of asking?
Yeah, so like a lot of people ask that. Well, I'm mixed actually. I'm half black, half Argentinian.
Oh
So,
shit!
Damn.
Yeah, so
Soccer
I-
player, huh?
Yeah,
That's a-
freaking more like getting crossed up and tripping on a blade of grass. But I'm
All
pretty
right,
decent at
that's
FIFA though. I will
Hey,
admit that.
there you go.
So yeah, so
You got Paco
freaking
in here.
Catch me on the sticks. I challenge anybody.
Damn!
I will
Oh,
put
Paco.
I will put my gamer tag in there. You know, come catch
Okay.
this work. It's Argentina.
All right,
you know?
Paco, our friend, our cousin Paco, he's like a
good.
legend. He's the best of all of us.
Yeah, but then he
We
met
gotta
me.
do- Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
shit. You know,
Yeah.
that's how I feel about Smash Brothers.
Well, actually, the
pretty good.
game that I will legit not let people take me over, Madden.
Okay,
I'm probably
Madden.
the best in this side of Texas.
Oh
There you
shit!
go.
Prove
there
it
you
to
go.
me. Yeah, forget somebody else prove me wrong.
ATM.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I wasn't a fan of Velasquez. Uriah Faber, I was a huge fan.
Okay.
See, look, he's already doubted me, but
No.
he like already
No,
knows.
I like you right
Okay,
here.
I was about to say like anybody, they can get this work whenever. Just
There
let
you
me know.
go.
Just
We
freaking
want to
make sure.
get a TV so we can play some video games.
Yeah,
Posted nothing long ago that one commercial he had with Mountain Dew.
Who did?
Man,
Who?
Uriah Faber.
Oh, okay.
That's the first time I ever saw that guy. Like,
Yeah.
Dude, yeah,
That was probably the first UFC fight I saw. Him against Cruz. That was a good fight.
yeah.
Those guys are-
Faber's fucking. I don't even know. Does he still fight now? But
He's coming back. He's injured like every day.
yeah, he is. That's what I didn't like about him. But like his wrestling game was awesome.
Oscar, do you want me to give you the microphone? Okay.
Hold on, going back real quick.
Sorry.
So your dad or your mom is Argentinian?
My dad is.
Okay, and you grew up speaking Spanish with him as well?
I grew up with my mom in
Okay.
Eastern Shore, Maryland, hence the country boots and the style. And I love country music. Love playing my guitar. I grew up riding horses.
Damn.
Yeah, and kind of like when I was training for high school wrestling, you know, hay bales on top of the weight room made a fucking great combination. So I was kind of like a country boy. You know what? I still kind of am too. You know, I mean, that's just the lifestyle I live. You know, I listen to all sorts of music, but you know,
Yeah.
I just like that country boy lifestyle. Very simple. Very
Nice, man.
simple.
But you're still into anime and everything like that? That's
I'm into a lot of things,
That's
man.
good, man.
I'm into a lot of things.
that's awesome.
I mean, freaking Dragon Ball Z was the original gym motivation.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up because
yeah.
I want to ask you something.
Yes.
Let's not skim over the fact because you have a twin brother.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How
his
do we
name-
know
his
it's
name
really
is
you
Paul.
here?
No, my
How do we know this isn't Paul?
Right, Paul? Is that
Yes.
his name? Okay. So
Greg, you're
I want to
creeping
ask
me
you.
out, Greg.
Shut up. It's not that hard. He has pictures, but the thing is,
His account was on private,
this
just
guy
so you
did
know.
his fucking homework.
His
Because
account was on
we're talking
private.
about
It was not
we-
accessible.
we're talking about Dragon Ball Z. Did you and your brother ever try to fuse?
I mean, yeah, but
I
mean,
like,
yeah,
but
duh.
like freaking, but like then we kind of came to the conclusion like we look the exact fucking
What would that even look like?
they look the exact fucking same. Like
Just one guy.
Everything, but just more exaggerated, like bigger hands, bigger ears.
maybe I'm
I used
just.
to have a twin, but we fused, so now it's
I
just me.
was like, maybe we can take both of our deadlifts and maybe we can get 1,000 pounds because I almost like back in my peak I almost did about 600 and he did about 5 something. So I'm like maybe like we looking like we talked about that one time. Be like, hey, we should fuse together. We can get 1,000 pound deadlift.
Did you guys ever wrestle each other? I'm assuming probably a couple times.
Yeah.
That's good training, no?
Be honest right now. Who's better?
I mean, we have like a 3-3 split, like freaking all time.
Oh,
Like
okay.
he knows his style. I know my style. It always come down to like triple OT, like scoring a ton of points. You know, trying not to give up points, flipping over each other. Like he was my practice partner, so he knows what I'm gonna do. He
Okay.
knows what I'm gonna do. You know.
Damn, dude. I think I picture it like I remember in Piccolo used to clone himself and then fight himself.
Yeah,
I feel like that's kind of like I know it's not the same, but
Yeah, and I mean, it involved like a bunch of crazy stuff. Like we take so much pride in not scoring each other. Like I would legit hit the splits on the edge not to get scored on, and like I'd be like, "Fuck!" Whenever I give up and take that, I got freaking stuff like that. Like it get pretty heated in the wrestling room, but we made each other better that way. So
damn, that's
Here,
awesome, man.
Let's get into what you actually like talking about, Chris. Health and fitness, right?
Okay.
yeah, there we go.
So
I mean, I like wrestling too. It's just that
Yeah, I know.
I don't do it nearly as much, and like now, when freaking nobody can do it. Actually, freaking. By the way, be a free move topics. You know, I feel for all the Division One programs that are being dropped right now. You know, it's
Yeah.
you know what, and you know, shout out to Old Dominion University. They fought to get their program back because guys, like, how fucking childish is that? Of course, you're gonna fucking. It's like a money game. How fucking easy is it to get rid of the programs that don't make you as much money, but build the most character? Like in college, so there was a longitudinal study done, right? Freaking the most criminals that come out of college football. Now, I'm not going to villainize college football. I
Damn.
love college football. But like compared to like wrestling, like you see a lot more entrepreneurs, CEOs, and all that compared to like why?
Really?
Why would you get that? Like if I was the dean of a college, like if they ever offer me a college wrestling to be a fucking gold mine because of the people that come out. So
That's true.
shout out, we're gonna make it through this, guys, and I have faith in the wrestling community.
Beautiful, man. Aaron Hernandez. Shout out to. Oh wait.
Wait, yeah, wrong.
my hero.
Yeah. Anyway, please go on.
Oh yeah. So what are some things that you've been really interested in lately concerning health and fitness that you've been researching and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, like I've been an online coach for 2 years, and like really funny. So like a lot of people kind of market themselves different. Like really funny. You've had a guest on here a few episodes back, Jovi Castillo.
Oh yeah.
She actually goes to the gym that I go to. You know, we're like
Everybody
really cool.
knows her.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, she's
Everybody
a cool
knows
Yeah,
her.
I mean, she's a cool person, and yeah, like she does a lot of stuff through Instagram. Like I don't use Instagram very serious at all. Like I use LinkedIn, which by the way, I'll get into LinkedIn later. Gold mine for any business that you want to start or anything, but I'll get to that later. I'm just kind of
tell us.
so.
Ow.
You know, I kind of find this balance between trying to like perform better humanly and live
Okay.
freaking healthier. But, you know, I'm trying to find a balance because, you know, popular conscious belief, if you work out too much, it can be very bad for your adrenals and you don't recover. But, you know, I've just been trying to optimize my health. One, I've always had a good diet, but hey, how can I diversify myself daily
Yeah.
or like in the gym? You know, how can I fix my technique better so I can lift more weight, or like how can I do the least amount of activity to make sure that my VO2 max and lactate threshold, and that's just layman terms for like, so that's what makes a person cardiovascularly fit fast, right? How much oxygen can you metabolize as quickly as possible and do that over and over again? That's how people end up, you know, like the CrossFitters, like freaking Usain Bolt. They take a lot of energy output and they can metabolize that. So, I mean, I would say like I'm kind of like a combination of powerlifting, CrossFit. You know, I just like to move. You know,
That's
and
good, man.
I hate that feeling of being out of shape and slow. Like,
Yeah.
for me, being out of shape is like a 6-minute mile. Like, you know, I take my training fucking seriously.
Yeah.
I can say I show up every day to the gym because like that shit's a privilege. Like I can only like count a handful of times where like I wasn't going to the field for the Army or something that I missed out. You know, that shit's a fucking privilege. Like that's your time in your head. you're your own superhero in that moment. You walk to the gym and no matter what style you go in that motherfucker, you own it.
Yeah.
Like I'll go to the powerlifting side of freaking Elevate. I'll have hundreds of pounds on my back squatting, and I'll be yelling and shit. I'll be getting hyped up, slap myself in the face and shit. Yeah, because like that's just what I like to do. But like freaking, also I'm very like conscious of my diet. Like I don't drink soda at all. Like I drink water all the time. I make sure I get. I try and make sure I like eat a well balanced diet. Like I have my scientific reasons, but like people shouldn't overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
It's really not that hard to eat a good diet. Like freaking frozen vegetables. Like I live a very fast paced lifestyle with the army, right? So fresh versus frozen. Fresh when I have time. Frozen, there's plenty of studies by that freaking FDA and Nikolai, who's actually a really well known nutritionist. It's frozen at its ripest point. You just pop that bad boy in the fucking microwave. Just like I've never had a surgery yet. I'm not gonna jinx myself, but when that time comes, who cares? I don't even need my wisdom teeth removed because they said that my fucking mouth is big enough to house it.
That sounds like a modest like rap diss.
He's all showing off about his
I don't
mouth.
even need my wisdom teeth.
No, I mean like, cause,
Now I get what you're saying.
yeah, because like most people do, but like I
did, yeah.
like healthy habits, and like this is the last time. So like I normally go through this phase where like I bulk and then I cut because I want to lift more weight, but like I'm gonna stop doing that now because science says if you can maintain a very high protein freaking intake, which the amino acids in protein, which is kind of like the nitrogen complex, that's what helps prime recovery. So actually gaining 1 pound a week, according to many scientific literature, actually, once you get to a certain point, it's not really helping. It's putting on more fat and adipose tissue. So the more you learn your body, the better, right? So like I got up to 190. I was looking fat as shit. I was still moving like quick, but now I'm like 155. And like I'm still like I was a little bit stronger than I was at 190. So guys, there's just do your research. There's plenty of scientific based studies out there. Just learn your body. Like I'm never gonna bulk again. Like maybe if I was a bodybuilder, but I just don't see like the exchange because like when you gain all that weight, it has cardiovascular implications like a natural resting high blood pressure and all that. And like I'm not the bodybuilder guy. I just like to live a healthy lifestyle and I like to crush some heavy weight too. So I just like to live healthy, and that's what I tell all my clients to do as well. Just have healthy habits. It's okay. I mean, I made it a goal of mine, and this is gonna sound fucking weird to everybody, but freaking sometimes I don't flexible diet like at all. It'll be strict, and I made it a mission to have 1 beer with my dinner every single night. So I don't get into that little cult thing. Because I think flexible dieting is great. Strict dieting is something I don't want to do for the rest of my life. It's just been a little habit that I'm trying to shake. And I'm transparent with my clients about that too. I'm like, guys, I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to be. So.
Damn, that's a good
Gang,
mentality
brother.
to have, dude.
Yeah.
And then as far as like what I was asking you though is what are your goals? Like what are you trying to look like, or what are you trying to achieve with your workouts?
Being in the military, I just want to be the full package, right? So anybody that are my military members, they can probably relate to what I'm about to say. So I'm a logistician in the Army, and I have 100 soldiers under me that are like mechanics, welders, and basically we support the guys that go there and shoot at bad guys when their vehicles break down and when they don't have fuel or ammunition. Like we're the workhorses, we're the logisticians. That's why whenever you see these guys get out the Army, they normally have pretty good paying jobs. Because it's a lot of complex thinking. Like they go out there and do the dumb work, we do the smart work and the calculations. But we also get a pretty bad rap for being fat and out of shape. And me being the lieutenant that's a logistician with all the infantry guys and stuff, like the pow guys, like I just want to set the example, man. Like a lot of these guys, like I don't want to let them walk over me. Like the other officers be like, oh yeah, like you're not in shape or anything. I never want them to have that in my mind. Be like, hey, I'm a goddamn logistician, and this is how we do here. So yeah, I just want to be the complete. I don't want to say like super soldier, but like yeah, freaking basically, and that's what I try and do. Like,
what do you think about the Fort Bliss fitness level?
I mean, depending.
Because have you been stationed in other places?
No, but I mean, I started out in the National Guard before for like 4 years, and yeah, they don't value that very much. I'll tell you that right now.
Fucking warriors.
But I mean, they promote working out like around here. Like even as we're in quarantine right now, like they have people be like, "Hey, have you downloaded the Train Heroic app?" They have workouts for us here. So, yeah, I mean, they encourage working out
Yeah.
and, like, eating a healthy lifestyle, you know. But it's just kind of sad when, like, people like 18 or 19 coming right out of their first, like, basic training, like, they're coming in here out of shape and stuff. And I'm just like, guys, like, you're setting habits for the rest of your life, not just in the Army. Because what if you don't want to do 4 years? You know, it's not good.
Did you have a hard time coming when you came here adjusting from sea level to elevation?
Not nearly as bad as I thought because, you know, I do a lot of like, you know, I do a lot of intervals and stuff. Like, I will admit it did bother me a little bit. Like, when I first got here, like, when I was lifting weights, I'm like, fuck, I just felt like I went up a flight of stairs. But then after that, you know, I kind of, yeah, it was different. But if I didn't train the way I did, I would have had a worse time. Like, I've heard some crazy stories. Some people took the first PT test and blacked out at the end of the 2-mile run. I'm like,
I've heard
okay,
about that shit.
I'm not that. But, yeah, I mean, it's different, but like whenever I go home, I'm like, holy shit, I'm fast. Like,
I can breathe.
yeah,
I feel so good having all this oxygen.
So you're a big proponent of cardio then? You're a big fan of cardio?
yeah. I mean,
say?
a lot of people villainize it because they're like, oh my god, I'm gonna
don't
get
understand.
small, and I'm like, guys, look.
What's the big deal with being big? Can someone explain that to me?
So I mean, if you're a bodybuilder, if you're a bodybuilder, so I'm not gonna villainize like people. If that's your goal, absolutely. But you still got to do cardio for it too, right? So you see the people that are successful in like the powerlifting stage, like Steffi Cohen, the CEO of Hybrid Performance Method, right? So she does it too. She used to be like a soccer player, which that shit's all cardio. But like the certain muscle fibers in your body, right? So there's more than one way to skin the cat here, right? Like when you do sprints, you activate what's called your type 2X fibers. And those are the same ones that are going to kick in when you have heavy loads, right? So like I'm not saying like go out there and just go ham, just program it into like I program it in substitution with some of my other accessory exercise, you know, some freaking kettlebell swings or some 200-meter sprints, you know, like use it to help you, don't use it to freaking hinder you. And like if you're using it to lose weight, like you're a bodybuilder, absolutely do that too. Like they say don't make 100% of your caloric deficit as cardio, you know, but, you know, I think it helps. I mean, I definitely lean to nutrition when I'm trying to lose weight. That's what you should do right off the bat.
Yeah.
But, like, you can use cardio to help fuel your athletic performance. Like, a lot of people ask me why I don't do CrossFit. Well, I'm like, you know, I'm just in shape doing what I'm doing now. You know, if it doesn't, you know, science proves it. And, like, you see a lot of the higher level athletes, they kind of separate themselves from the other guys when it comes to, like, the strength sports, because they're cardiovascularly sound and what they do translates, you know, like freaking box jumps. You know, you have, so I'm going to throw out the term called plyometrics, right? So a lot of people think that's jumping, but it's not. So plyometrics is any activity that you can release the most amount of potentiation, energy, at one time.
Okay.
So jumping is a form, so is running. That comes in 3 stages, right? So like when you pick your feet up. So there's terms for this, but I kind of forgot. But you kind of have the plant phase, you have the amortization phase, which you're signaling your body, okay, I'm about to release all this energy in a sprint. I should activate my type 2Xs. I should activate, you know, things in my sacromeres, which is your muscles, and your striations, which is what gives your muscles that kind of like shredded look when you get really low. So yeah, guys, I would definitely don't plead ignorant to cardio. Just do your research.
Yeah.
That should actually help. Like, I can honestly say, if I didn't incorporate that into my program, like, and like, I don't think about it as cardio. I think about it as extra work, you know, to make me better. I can honestly say I want to be as fast or as strong as I am now. So
I think just look at sprinters, dude. I think sprinters have some of the nicest bodies.
yeah, because type 2X fibers, like, they're like
Usain?
Those people are ripped, dude.
yeah, and it's because like a lot of people think cardio is going to make you lose muscle mass if you have a shitty diet with no protein intake.
Right.
Absolutely, anything you do is going to.
To me,
You'll get hungrier.
Yeah,
to me, I think for me, I've always been a fan of like long distance running because I always think of it like in the endurance of it, right?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Like as soon as I lay awake at night and I could just think like there is a country in Africa right now just full of people who can run a 2-hour marathon. Okay,
Yeah.
Kipchoge was the first one to run a sub 2. But the thing is that his whole training camp, it's literally full of people like him that could literally just go and just kill it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what?
What
What even is that?
Because you're saying how sprinting activates those. Was it X2?
So you have your type 2 period. So there's different classifications, but you have your type 1s, which are kind of like your slow twitch fibers. You see like a lot of bodybuilders have a lot of like type 1s. You know, they might not be as strong as a powerlifter, but you take a 200-pound bodybuilder, 200-pound powerlifter. The powerlifter is going to look different, but he has more type 2s. You're going to have the bodybuilder. He's the same size. He looks like fucking Hercules, but he has more type 1s.
Okay.
Bodybuilder can lift more weight. I mean, the powerlifter can lift more weight than the bodybuilder, but that's not a bad thing because they both have completely different goals. So the type 1 fibers, you know, they're the least to exhaust because they potentiate less energy. Your type 2s, you know, fast twitch fiber, release power. And that's what gives their powerlifters, you know, the ability to just lift these insane amount of weights in just one time like that.
So as far as long distance running, like what Greg was mentioning, so that would work out your type 1 fibers more, right?
Yeah, and like there's nothing wrong. So, okay, so I'm gonna use this abbreviation, and of course you guys are about to misinterpret the fuck out of it.
Same.
LSD, long slow distance, which is what they call it in strength and conditioning, right? So there's absolutely nothing wrong with it as long as you have an adequate diet and all of those other things. But you know, that's good for building your cardiovascular base. Like I do like a 10-mile run or like ruck like every other week because it just makes me a well-rounded person on top of like, and like when I do sprints, you know, I have a varies from like 800, 250, stuff like that. So like if you can just have like the perfect mix, now I do agree, you can overdo anything. You can do too many sprints. If you do like a 10-mile run every single day, your bones won't be able to handle it unless you're trained up to that.
One Punch Man style.
Yeah, so I do agree. Just like find a program that works for you.
Yeah. Right now, like you're mentioning the long distance, because I of course, like I want to look good when I work out, but I also really appreciate the mental benefits.
Oh yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
Especially of long distance running, you have this big problem in your mind, and you're like, let me go for it, and it just feels nice, you know.
Running, it's like therapy, man. Like, 'cause you can sit there with your thoughts. I mean, I put my jams on and everything. I would be interested in doing something like the Moab, like Courtney DeWalter. You know, you've heard of Courtney DeWalter?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy. How many miles was that? It's like a shit ton.
Insane.
Took her 3 days or like 2 days or something like that.
Yeah, it's something like that.
She said she was hallucinating.
Yeah, okay. Now see, she
I'm like-
goes hard as shit for that. I don't know about that.
Like, she was like, oh man.
No, yeah, I love going for a run whenever I'm stressed out, and just I like everything just seems less of a big deal.
Well,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you're literally fighting to keep going. You know what I mean? Like everything just kind of condenses to this one task of keeping your legs moving, of keeping your breathing. You know what I'm saying? So I think that is beneficial. Anything like working out, anything that gets you tired.
Yeah.
That's why I think like people who work like in the mines and stuff like that, you know, they come home from work and they don't have any other worries in their mind. So it's just like, I'm too tired
Dirty
to
old
think of. I'm not too tired to think of anything else.
Yeah, and like I think anybody should do some sort. Like, of course, a lot of people want to go to the gym, or maybe you shouldn't.
Right.
Or like maybe you don't want to, but like I
Right.
think anybody should do any level just for general health benefits,
Yeah.
any sort of cardiovascular activity.
Do
Like
some burpees.
going out and walking for 60 minutes has
Yeah.
great benefits on your blood pressure and stuff like that, and just activating your body in the morning. Because like your body's a machine. Like it doesn't care if like subconsciously it doesn't care if there's stay home work safe. Like you still gotta freaking execute your metabolism and take care of your body and all that other stuff. And yeah, man, this is scary, not because of the pandemic, which you're gonna get through, but like we're gonna see like they're predicting a 48% increase in depression and other
shit.
things of like people just staying inside. But you can remedy that by just getting some exercise, guys.
Yeah.
Like I make sure I at least do something every single day.
What
Like,
are you doing, man, to stay healthy during these times?
It's hard for some people to do it. If they've never done it, now they're being forced to.
Exactly, and like I
Well,
feel like it shouldn't be like that.
you're not getting forced to do anything. The thing is that, I mean, you should kind of just see it as like you're trying to benefit something for yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think people see all these Instagram. I'm not saying that social media is a problem of everything, but I say like the people see people on social media like Dwayne the Rock Johnson or like what's his nuts, Jason Statham, and you know doing all these like crazy movements. And it's like, well, I could never do that. And it's like, well, of course not. Of course you're not gonna start there.
What
But
do
like
you
said,
recommend?
just walk or
I
something.
think they're being forced. And
Yeah.
Because they used to say, I don't have time. Well, now you have time.
Yeah, you got plenty of time.
What do you recommend for a young person watching this who doesn't really work out, but they're at the house all day and they're like, man, I'm kind of tired
Burpees.
of being here all day.
Yeah, I mean, one, just like if you have nice weather, one, just go for like 30-minute walk around your neighborhood. Like
There you go.
you don't understand what that 30-minute walk is gonna do, right? It's gonna activate serotonin, like the
Yeah.
fucking happy juice and all that,
Yep.
and then
Happy
it's
juice.
it's like it's gonna get all those metabolic processes going.
Yeah.
And like depending on when you do it in the day or at night, it really doesn't matter. Like, don't. I'm scared for humanity right now, like in the United States, because like I don't want to see like all this. Like when we come out of this pandemic, I don't want to see like an uptake in suicides or fucking divorces or domestic violence that could have been like prevented. Because let's be real, guys, like you're gonna be stuck in the house if you're in a family with like your wife or something. Like no relationship is perfect. Like every single relationship is gonna have. You're gonna disagree about something, but like don't be salty about it because you guys are stuck in the same house. Go for a walk.
Yeah.
Freaking together if you have to.
Yeah.
And like when it
You
comes
have
when it comes to resistance training, right? Like a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, so like I can't go to the gym." I'm like, "Guys, your muscles are stupid here, right? It doesn't matter if you're curling a dumbbell or curling a soup can. You're going to have the same stimulus and it's going to signal to your body, "Hey, I need to hypertrophy or I'm not going to meet this survival instincts here." So just when all else fails, guys, pick something up. Like there's plenty of rocks around here. Like I was on the
Dude.
playground and doing some split squats with like a rock in my fucking
Yeah.
hand. And like I don't know about you guys, but it feels nice to like, just learn something that you haven't learned before. Like I've been learning a lot. Like I was a big calisthenics guy growing up. Now I have the time to go outside and do it in front of my garage. And then I see some people walking by and be like, "What is he doing?" He's throwing himself in the air while doing push-ups. Like, guys, look, I'm just having fun. And like the thing with about body weight training, you got to do a lot more reps because you don't have the outside resistance of like
Yeah.
a machine or something. So just knock them out, man. Like your body has a few base human movements that you can freaking satisfy. So your body it's meant to bend, it's meant to gait, which means run, hinge, like push pull and do all that stuff, and you can do that with your body weight. So just
Dude, and because I know a lot of people are probably saying like, well, yeah, that's nice, but I don't have the gear or whatever. Like if you're stuck at home, I'll tell you this: I have 2 kids,
yeah.
and my oldest
Pick
is
up your kids.
No, I was gonna say my oldest she has a lot of energy,
Yeah.
and so sometimes what I'll do is that I'll clear the living room and I'll play like a song. Maybe a cha-cha slide or something, and I'll just go ham with her, and I'll start dancing with
There
her.
you go.
And then or sometimes she'll run, and she'll come run at me, and I'll just pick her up over my head. I'll bring her down. Maybe she'll sit on my back, do some push-ups. Like we're just literally just doing a bunch of movements. Like I'm picking her up like this, putting her on the couch. Like there's a lot of things that you can do. So, play some karaoke. I don't know. Karaoke takes a lot out of you, man. You're sitting in that hot room, just singing at the top of your lungs.
Yeah.
Huh?
Shot.
You shot put. Yeah, you just shot put your kids. I don't know. I think it's all about just movement, man. Like you just gotta be active.
Yeah, just get going, guys. Like, or else you're gonna drive yourself insane. And then, if anything, like this this teaches us that like we're grateful. Like it's a privilege to be able to go to a gym. Like everything's already set up for you and stuff. So
Yeah.
like, just the fact that you got to get creative. Like maybe this will make us appreciate the little things when this is all
Oh,
done
for
over.
sure.
But if I can just make one point clear, right? Your body doesn't know the difference between any type of stimulus. Like
True.
a lot of scientific folks that I follow that are like bodybuilders and break it down to a science, like freaking Steve Hall or anything. Before he got his gym equipment in the mail for like the first 6 weeks, he was doing a row with a suitcase and shit, and
There you go.
fucking bicep curls like milk jugs, and he was still jacked and stuff. So like, guys, your body, like, and think about it, right? So
Prison workout.
like back like gyms, like commercial gyms have only been a thing for like the past like 40 years. Like what were
Yeah.
people doing beforehand? Just think about it. Get creative.
Like
Like,
Jack LaLanne, have you ever heard of that dude? That's the dude that invented these crazy push-ups where you do with your fingertips.
Oh yeah.
Your hands are completely
Exactly.
like this,
Didn't he invent that juicing machine?
and
too?
he just like that dude was ripped.
yeah, I mean, so just
What do you
Have
think?
fun.
What do you think about going like 75% in all your workouts?
what do you mean by going 75%?
Like not pushing
Like
all the way.
almost maxing out, but not really.
Well, I mean, yeah. So you have your CNS, your central nervous system, right? And a lot of people. So science supports this like 60-40 on what I'm about to say. But one, like you can blow that out. Like your body gets this mental imagery, every single week, which is why you should program your workouts. be like, hey, if I do my 1 rep max, you know, everything's good, but my mind wasn't in it, then I'm just not going to do as well. Well, like also, I think you need to periodize your workout. You're going to have periods of low weight, high reps, percentages, or whatever you decide to do, RPE, rate of procedure, exertion. I don't think it's very healthy to go 100% every single workout. You're going to get injured that way.
Yeah.
Most injuries actually happen in the weightlifting space due to what's called load management. And yeah, like you think you can do it, but your body wasn't ready for it. And boom, I just tore my quad and I don't know why. It was like, oh yeah, because I overshot my percentages for that week, or my CNS wasn't ready for
He
it.
wasn't ready.
Yeah, so most most injuries in the weightlifting space is actually, I want to say like 75% of them is actually due to load management.
Yeah.
You gotta get going, man, or
Oh no,
Okay.
no,
I was
like,
making sure.
fucking people keep blowing up my phone.
I wanted to, well, okay, so I wanted to kind of segue into, because you're talking about investing, right? We're talking about, when you're talking about working out, health business is all about investing. And real quick, just to kind of segue in here, because Oscar shared a video with us. It was a hilarious video.
Yeah.
This girl made a skit about how she was talking to herself
Yeah.
4 months in the future or something like that. So basically, like, the girl that was going through the coronavirus was talking to her past self. And she was like, well, obviously, you know, because of the, you know, the time construct of like time travel, I can't tell you too much.
Oh,
but like
God.
she's saying all these
butterfly
things.
effect.
And then one thing that bothered me, Chris, and thank God that you're here and you share my affinity for long-term investments. She said, right now, I would just pull all your investments. And that triggered me a little bit. I was like, what? You're telling her to pull all her investments?
That's not a good idea.
No, absolutely not. I think you would agree with me today. Now's the time to buy.
Yeah, especially like some of stocks and shit that you weren't able to even buy. Like
Apple.
some of these airline ones are even expensive. Like, yeah, I could get it, but it like wasn't like I couldn't buy a shit ton of them. But then you
Nah.
had Delta, like I think like 2.5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was like $13 a share, so I went ahead and bought like fucking
There you go.
50 of those.
Dude.
So I'm like,
Now's
yeah, I
the
mean,
time, brother.
people
I think
don't
he
realize like
Huh?
due to the free market economy and capitalism, like this stuff is gonna come in waves. Like there's gonna be economic boom,
Right.
like maybe 6 to 8 months from now. Like people want to look at the close picture and be like, yeah, the economy's bad because nobody's working. Of course it's gonna be
Yeah.
bad. But I'm just like, yeah, guys, like
I-
don't be afraid to invest.
I
like,
read The Simple Path to Wealth by, God, fuck it, I'm skipping his name. But he talks about it and he puts it in such latent terms. It's like, and we'll tell the audience right now. The thing is, it's not about if the market's gonna go down, right? You understand that.
Yeah.
It's not about if. It's going to.
Yeah.
It's always gonna go down, but it's always gonna go back up. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? The Great Depression, the housing bubble, whatever the fuck
Yeah,
it was
like
called.
fucking 1970, the
Yeah.
energy crisis.
Yep.
Like when we were first trying to figure out how to regulate the economy with like energy services. 2002. Okay, so 2002. What?
Y2K?
Sex?
Yeah. So I fucking. So in case you guys don't know about COVID-19, coronavirus actually comes in strands.
Yep.
SARS back in 2002. Economic downturn came back from it. 2008, H1N1. Now, this didn't really have much to do with the disease, but it was kind of like around at the time. It was more like the housing market crashed.
Yeah.
But then it boomed again. And here we are with coronavirus, right? Which is another strand of freaking corona. So, like,
Yep.
what's happening here? It's like ebbs and flows, you know? Like, we're not autocratic like China, you know? It's like a consumer buyer's market. So
Yeah.
once the supply and demand comes back, it's fair game from there.
I just want to defend that girl real quick because
What girl?
I think you misinterpreted her.
Well, first of all, she was being funny.
And it sounds like that he roasted her. That's what it sounded like.
I got triggered a little bit. All right, go
No,
ahead.
she was
Go
really
ahead and
funny.
defend-
I
Yeah, no,
re-
it was funny.
It was a
video.
very,
Just that one
it
little
was
thing.
a
I was
really
like,
clever. I think she meant sell high, buy low.
What?
Like,
No,
I
she
think
said pull all of your investments.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like pull them, like sell them, and then when it goes down, like you buy more with
But so then
a
she's
higher value.
that's the opposite of what you're saying. She's selling them low as fuck.
No, because
Like sell them. Oh, okay, sell them right
Yeah.
now while they're high. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
and then you buy more with
Okay,
more money.
well, yeah, but I've invested in just a VTSAX, it's just the index fund, and I'm just letting it sit there.
Yeah.
That's all you really have to do.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't know from what I've read.
What kind of investing are you into?
Well, like I got my TSP right now. I could just have that.
Hey,
yeah,
don't
kinda,
let that go, man.
Yeah,
don't let that
kind of
go.
have that in So for the military, even if you don't do 20 years, it's still a pretty sweet deal because all the
break that
progress
down?
that I've
Yes.
so all the progress that I've invested is going to go with me like wherever I go.
Yeah.
And then I just do stocks through TD Ameritrade.
Okay.
So like I study the trends, not as closely as I should, but like shit, like I've seen stuff like Zoom, which by the way, I think Zoom is going to be one of the great ones you should probably invest in. Then you have stuff like freaking Unilever, which is the company that helps control food distribution like Walmart and everything. I'm looking into stocks for energy because like once these gas prices come back up, that's you're going to wish you kind of had your money in that one.
Are
But
you investing in marijuana at all?
I don't know. I'll be completely transparent. I don't know enough about it too. It's kind of hard. So with the state and national government doing all these infringements on it, it's kind of hard to gauge. Like I know the future is going to get more and more lenient, but I just don't know
Yeah.
about it right now. But definitely something in the future as well. But yeah, like also guys, like take this time to invest in yourself. Like read, like freaking read more.
Yeah.
Also, like, don't be afraid to like learn something new. Like, I just learned how to copyright a few weeks ago, and I actually got paid to write a few paragraphs. So,
Hey.
copywriting, right? So, have you guys ever looked on like a website or something and like see like the intro headlines, like the intro articles? Like somebody writes that, and people have actually made six-figure businesses off of copywriting. But hey, let me write for your website, for your Instagram, this amazing article that will make people buy your products. And like I'm learning about that for myself because freaking one day I'm like hoping to have like a training business myself instead of doing like the freelance stuff I'm doing right now. But it's all about how you communicate. We talked about visual in the beginning. Now you have written. So yeah, so like I just sat down, read a few books, freaking did a few freelance jobs, got a few friggin' $50 to $100 offers here. I'll be like, hey, you're big into the fitness world. Write this for my supplements. So I research their supplements. Boom, boom, boom. It's practice for me as well. So like that's like I feel like if you have the opportunity to learn a new skill, just go ahead with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that, and then I've learned about social media automation because like I said, I'm big on LinkedIn. So like so I just create content. Then I just learned how to like auto feed it. Like little stuff. Like you can just learn little stuff here. And I had learned I always think that my barbecue game is freaking A1, but I've learned a few more tricks as well, so that's always good in that department.
What do you prefer? Texas barbecue, or what's the other one? Kansas that they say is really good. 'Cause there's like a debate.
I think Texas is
It's in
the gold
Kansas.
standard for the United States, but
Yeah.
and that's my unbiased opinion because I'm from Maryland. And, I've had some trash barbecue over there. They're saying that
Southern-
North Carolina is good, but it's disgusting as fuck.
How do you feel about Mexican food? What's your favorite Mexican dish?
Your favorite Mexican?
Who's your favorite Mexican other than me?
Mexican dish.
Oh, because you're all into diet and stuff too, huh? So it's kind of hard to ask you that.
Well,
I mean,
you
shit.
might try some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I've lived here for so long. You fucking best
Yeah,
believe
man, come on, man.
I've done fucking laps around this motherfucker.
Yes.
I bet you everybody like recommended Chico's to you for the longest time.
Okay, shit. Chico's. That place is only good when I'm drunk,
I
man.
hear that's great for fitness.
No, I mean, like, okay,
After a long
there's,
workout.
there's actual tacos, and I think Chico's kind of cuts corners, but that's just me.
I mean, those are flautas. I don't know
Yeah.
why we keep saying.
What do you think about tacos de tripitas?
Yeah, I mean, I think the place is pretty fucking good, actually.
You like that?
Hell
There you
yeah.
go.
I
Try
mean,
some barbacoa too, man.
oh,
There you
dude.
go.
And
There you
then,
go.
like, so I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Estrella Meat Market.
Do what?
Australia? What?
If I'm pronouncing it right.
Okay. Oh, Estrella.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
right.
there you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
There you
Like
go.
I said that in the beginning.
Yes, I've had Estrella. It's delicious.
Yo, like literally, like they are probably exploding in business. Like they even put it on their like freaking Instagram. Like they keep running out of stock, but we're getting. I mean, I'm assuming that they just keep killing cows and fucking rapping. But nah, man, like I love everything they have there too, man. I've been barbecuing every other day, and like that's my go-to because it's like right up the street from my house. So
Estrella.
yeah,
We should do a cooking
Estrella.
segment. We should do a cooking segment.
Oh
We
hell
should,
yeah,
dude.
shit!
Cooking
I'm
with
down.
Chris.
I'm down, man. 'Cause
Cooking
I'll
with
show you
Chris.
how to make some fucking badass
Be
barbecue.
like what's that show that Bert Kreischer has? Something's burning.
Something's burning.
That'd be a good investment right now. A grocery store. Damn.
Yeah,
Make some cash.
But which
there.
one? Estrella. Oh, okay.
yeah.
Well,
I was about to say.
Have you ever considered opening up a business?
I mean, right now, if I really wanted to, like, want to definitely be something training wise, all online as far as like physical product. No, not really. but I'm not opposed to it in the future.
Because you do online training, you said, right?
Yep.
You never consider like opening up a gym? Is that still profitable? Since there's
I
like so
mean,
much.
you gotta find like the right area and then the right SWOT analysis that you have to conduct. Like like who's your competitors, what's your cash flow. Like like maybe one day, but that's not on the top of my list right now. I think it's a great idea if you can if you can just make it unique compared to all of them around. Like I look at some of the gyms around here,
That's true.
Iron Grind, Elevate, like they all bring their certain flavor. Show Off Fitness, Impact Strength. They kind of bring like their own little personality, and that's pretty cool. Like
That's difficult. Like, how do you differentiate a gym? Like, I think Planet Fitness did a really good job.
You have to go to a lot of gyms.
No, but I mean, like, with the whole, like, the judgment-free zone.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, here, anybody can come. You know?
okay, so
Like, that's pretty cool.
I'm about to cook the shit out of Planet Fitness. actually.
Hey.
So, like, they're a fucking corporate scam, right? So they keep you fat, so you keep coming back. You pay
Is that why they feed you
$10
pizza?
a month, and then
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I was actually trying to get more coffee. Actually. But
Oh, let me go get creamer. I brought creamer. You like creamer?
yes.
You son of a bitch.
So. So freaking Planet Fitness, you pay $10 fucking dollars, and they have all these events with all like this fucking processed food garbage.
Yeah.
At the end of the month, be like, hey, good job for you, like either losing this weight or building this muscle. And then it's just a vicious cycle. I've been kicked out of numerous ones too. So
How do you get kicked out of a Planet Fitness?
It's okay. Let me tell
Were you grunting?
Yes.
Did you set off the lung alarm?
I'm
hear
the
a
rare guy. If you ever take a road trip with me and I'm with my boys, be like, oh yeah, we just got to Colorado. I'll be like, all right, hold on, let me hop out. Where's the nearest gym at? You guys go up there. Let me go train real quick. So like the only gym that was open was like a Planet Fitness. Like I already fucking hated the place. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do me. Fuck all you motherfuckers.
Yes.
So I go in there and like I'm doing some drops that's like incline bench and like okay, so I take the dumbbells from here and literally right here. They drop maybe 1 inch on the ground. Some dumbass alarm goes off. It's like oh my god, you're like gonna have to leave. So I'm like
said
fine,
some
you know what?
dumbass alarm.
Yeah, I didn't want to come anyway.
I didn't-
No, it's literally because it's the only place that was open. So like I guess
I get
it's
you.
better than nothing. But yeah, I hate Planet Fitness, man.
Dude, if people look at you weird if you're like in there. I'm not saying that there's no people that they go in there and not working out right or whatever. But I was the guy doing burpees on treadmill. Like not on the treadmill, but like I'd sprint and then I'd get off and I'd do some burpees.
Yeah.
Like, I was that guy, and I could see like all these like moms. I'm gonna say they're moms, just looking at me like, what is he doing?
But it's the judgment-free zone, Greg.
It's not though. They are judging you.
Yeah, and
If you
they
work
can
out
fuck
too
off.
hard, they're like, "Look at this guy. What's he
He's
doing?"
going too hard. Slow down. Slow your
Did you
roll,
know what
Greg.
the kind of place this is?
Yeah, and they can fuck off for that.
What do you think about? Because I hear a lot of debate on deadlifting, and everybody deadlifts like it was like the thing like for a while.
Lifting, yeah,
but I
I
hear that
think-
it's actually kind of detrimental.
Lifting dead
Oh, I
people.
mean, yeah, if you have fucking bad form, absolutely.
Hey, yeah.
But I mean, I think it's one of the compound exercises that uses the most energy, activates the most muscles.
Okay.
And obviously, like your posterior chain, if you get older and it's not trained, like obviously you do deadlifts with a combination of other things, but it really helps. You know, because I don't want to be a guy with lower back issues.
What is the deadlift working out, to be specific?
Like, okay, so your whole posterior chain, like starting with your lower back, your rector spinae, which is like that huge muscle in your lower back, and then you got your hamstrings and a little bit of your calves, and then you have what's called your biceps femoris, which is part of your hamstrings, and then just all that.
That's all part of. What'd you say it was called?
Posterior
Yeah,
chain.
the posterior chain, and like, and depending on what type of deadlift you do, it's training one of your body's natural movement patterns called hinge, right?
Okay.
Hinge. So like when you pick something up like an object, you're gonna bend down and pick it up.
Yep.
Hopefully, because a lot of people
All back.
yeah, so a lot of people do that in their normal life freaking functions. They're like, oh yeah, I deadlifted one time and I fucked myself. I was like, no, you moved bad. That's why.
Break it down, dude. Break down the proper mechanics.
Well, I mean, I do both styles of deadlifts, but basically, you want to so your butt's the fulcrum, right? And you don't want your hips to shoot up higher than your shoulders. That's what makes a good deadlift.
okay.
You've ever seen the cat that's scared before? That kind of like
Yes.
yeah. So that's what you don't want. And as far as programming for a deadlift, you can talk to like anybody about that. But you want a perfectly good form deadlift. You know, you just want to be able to bend down, kind of like a fulcrum, right? Just kind of open up slowly. Just pick up the weight, drive through your heels.
Yeah.
And keep your lower back keep your lower back in generally the same position.
Okay.
Since your body's shaped in a curve, you know, you can have a little bit of upper back around it, especially when you have like a shit ton of weight. You would want your body to do that anyway, because like you kind of have a curve at the top. It's okay to upper back around a little bit, because if you can keep your upper back tight with 600 pounds on the ground, more props to you. But your body's meant to do a little bit of give like that.
Yeah.
But your lower back, don't let that move too much. So, I mean, like, same thing with sumo, right? You kind of want, your legs are a little bit more spread apart, but you still want to keep your lower back in the fulcrum movement like that. So that's what makes a good deadlift. You know, always practice good form. And if you're not a competitive weightlifter anyway, you shouldn't be trying to like max out all the time anyway.
Because it's so easy to get injured with that, right?
Yeah, it's easy to get injured with it, but also it's easy not to get injured with it as well.
If there's no other workouts that can I'm not saying like dangerous, but like that are less dangerous than the deadlift that can maybe achieve similar results.
I mean, you can do it with the dumbbells too.
Okay.
Yeah, like you can do it with the dumbbells, the hinge movement. I mean, the hinge movement is a universal movement. You can do it with the kettlebells. You know, you can I mean, honestly, I think you should be doing some sort of hinging movement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or like maybe some sort of like picking something off the ground also.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's one of our natural movements in the anatomical plane. So I think you should be doing some sort of deadlifting no matter what it is.
What about like people who arch their backs when they're doing a bench press?
Yeah, so
the
guys,
hell is
that
that
gets a
for?
bad
What is that?
gets a bad rap, and I do it. I don't do it to the degree as some people doing, but competitive powerlifting, right? So it's really compared to bodybuilders, it's really not like, yes, they're still strong, but some people have the flexibility where like they can arch their back, because really you get a really short plane of motion, but as long as you come down here and then lock out,
Yeah.
then you lifted that weight. But what arching on the bench press does, it keeps your shoulders and keeps all this stable. So what you're going to do, you're kind of going to retract, right?
Okay,
So
okay.
you don't want this loose, because when you come down loose like that,
Right.
you have a chance of tearing all the muscles in your shoulder, the shoulder girdle, the rotator cuff,
Yeah.
the teres major and all that. But when you're in a nice tight position, right? So
Yeah.
you just want to come down and then come up, like you're keeping yourself safe. And yeah, so like I do this, and then my back is going to arch naturally. You know, I don't have a big arch.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's going to arch naturally, but I'm tight up here. You know, my teres major is engaged, and I can just come down and come up. So
Okay.
arching, I think everybody. So one, if you keep your shoulders retracted, you're going to do it anyway. But don't villainize it. I think it's a safety mechanism that your body does when you retract your shoulders on bench, and don't be. So now I do agree. Some people have some over exaggerated arches that they're doing on purpose. Now, in powerlifting, you're playing the game with that. I can understand that. But now, if you're attracting and you have an arch, you're keeping your body safe.
Yeah, I have heard about the benefits of like actually engaging your muscles before a movement.
Yeah.
Like even a push-up, they tell you like once you're nice and spread out, you want to engage those everything. Like you just kind of just get tight.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you don't want to go in loose.
Yeah,
then
like
you're just kind of.
same thing with the squat. That's why they tell you to do the Valsalva maneuver, which is bracing.
Yeah.
One, you're working your core. Two, you want to keep your structure tight as you go down.
Yeah.
Or else you have a possibility of hurting yourself or tipping forward or doing any of that. You know, just really apply. And like a lot of people, like in the Army, for example, they teach good pull-up mechanics. Like you just don't just reach up and pull up, right? So you just grab the bar and then you do some shoulder. There's a proper term for it. I don't know, but then you brace your shoulders and then you pull and then you're using your lat. And like one, that's safe technique. Two, you can actually do a lot more pull-ups that way because you're using your core to help with pulling yourself up, and that way you don't exhaust your back muscles nearly as much. So yeah, I'm always a big fan. You know, I'm always a big fan of any type of resistance exercise. Make sure you have the proper technique. You know, don't freaking villainize, because in the gym the deadlift is my favorite workout, and I've never gotten hurt deadlifting. I've gotten hurt maybe 1 or 2 times doing some Army stuff, you know, like moving Army stuff in the field or something. But I've never been hurt deadlifting, because if I know I can't do it right, I just lower the weight.
Yeah.
It's as simple.
Right. Well, that's another term for maxing out, right? They say like maxing out is like either you do it till your proper form suffers, right, or till you like physically can't finish the rep.
Yeah, so you have different types of strength, right? So you have your load speed So you have what's called your submaximal strength, which
Yeah.
is like, which is what you're talking about, going to exhaustion. And you see like a body weight movements, or like maybe you're doing it with like a lot of reps and like maybe like bicep curls or bench press. And then you have your low speed movement, your maximal strength. Be like, okay, this is based on my percentages, I'm going to try my 1 rep max. And yes, you're going to have a little bit of form breakdown when you're doing that, but it shouldn't be so bad that you're like I'll be the first one to admit, like when I'm doing like a max squat or something, like I go from like 100% good technique to like maybe 85, 90, but you still have the principles and the cues.
Okay.
So,
Right. Cool. Were you gonna say something, Irvin?
I was just gonna ask, for during this time for people who are like not really doing, what are like 3 or a few exercises that you think are essential for people to still keep doing, for them to maintain, at least, because you were mentioning that there's core movements, right? Like the hinge.
Yeah. Like I forgot there's like 7 of them, like push, pull, hinge, gate, which is running. Yeah, like there's 7 of them, but yeah.
So you can achieve like a really healthy and a body if you do at least a few of those often.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I'm a big push-ups guy. Like me, fucking push-ups. Like anybody that follows me on Instagram or listens to my podcast, like I always tell them, like, you'll see me doing like Superman push-ups now. Those are kind of just like, I like calisthenics, but the basic push-up is a compound movement in its own. Air squats. Actually, one thing I kind of want to highlight, right? So a lot of people, they kind of neglect their core health. So when I'm talking about core, a lot of people think we're just talking about abs, but it stretches all the way around, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So you have your rectus spinae, your rectus abdominis, Just look up any type of core strengthening exercises. There's a lot of them for the freaking lower back, like the one called the bird dog, right? You have 1 foot here, 1 foot out here, strengthening all these muscles back here, because your core is not just your abs.
Right.
What helps keep you stable is just everything around.
Yeah.
So work your abs too, because the rectus abdominis freaking helps you brace, but a lot of people are more worried about the front. But when they get older, they wonder about why the back freaking gives out so easy as well. But luckily, there's exercises, like I do them at least like 15 minutes every single day. I'll do like some seal stuff and some bird dogs, and like that helps when you get under a heavy deadlift, like a squat too. But like also just for general health as well, don't neglect your core. And if you don't know what your core muscles are, just look it up on the internet or any anatomy book. Like it's like there's a reason why they term in strength and conditioning that your body has a natural weightlifting belt, because a weightlifting belt, it stretches around your whole body, not just what you can see from the front.
True.
Do your core exercise as well. Do not neglect that, and don't just do any beach body workout. Do something that will actually strengthen your lower back muscles, and just do that. Do more of that.
What are some other body parts that you think people neglect? I've noticed a lot of people with really small calves.
I mean, so I'm not a bodybuilder, so I'll be the first one to admit I've got fucking small calves too. I don't give a shit. But they do have their benefit of working at them. So there's this condition that I actually used to have, but I don't anymore. It's called plantar fasciitis. I'm a flat-footed person, so like when I run sometimes, it kind of gets irritating, but freaking luckily not anymore. But so I think like doing some calf raises or something can help. So you have fascia on your feet. If they get stressed too much, then it's gonna give you the sensation of having stress fractures, which you don't actually have.
I
But
hear that's super painful.
yeah,
Dominic Cruz struggled with that a lot too.
yeah. So just do your calf raises, because what that does, it stretches that fascia, and just keeps your feet. It gets the stress from your feet, because your feet take a lot of stress, even if you're not an athlete. So I would recommend doing that. Roll your feet out. I do it with a ball too. That helps stretch that fascia out as well. Just stay mobile. Move your wrist. Stretch your. Oh,
I'm sorry.
Just wake up and stretch. Like I'm stretching my fingers. I'm doing all that, guys. Just
There you go, brother.
just stay mobile. And then if you don't know how to like do mobility, just look it up on YouTube. There's plenty of free videos, but just keep your body mobile. You don't have to be like, for me, being like powerlifter, kind of like movement type guy. There's a certain level of flexibility that I have to maintain, but that's kind of relative, right? So like a lot of people think the gold standard, and I actually talked to a really good chiropractor known in LA on freaking one of my podcasts called Dr. Matt Schrimner, and he brought up a really good point. It's cool that you can hit the splits and stuff, but in your daily activities, are you required to do so? That might not be. That doesn't mean that that you're the pinnacle or the paragon of optimal health. Like,
Right.
if you're working a desk job, when the hell are you ever going to be able to fucking?
Well, you're Jean-Claude Van Damme. Apparently, you do it all the time.
What if you're a stripper though?
I
feel like
mean-
that's really important.
Hey man, you know what? They're probably getting stimulus checks as well. But I mean, but yeah, you gotta just get mobile, stay healthy. You know,
Yeah.
like just because we're inside, that doesn't mean you have to neglect the basic stuff like nutrition and mobility and stability. That shit should be basic, man. Like,
Yeah, I've been wanting to get flexible for the longest time.
Yeah.
It's
How
just
flexible?
really hard.
Like, what do you mean? Like,
I just want to be able to head kick somebody. That's my goal
Head
in
kick?
life.
I mean, I can head kick somebody, but I probably end up landing on my face as well because me, it's not the flexibility part; it's the coordination part.
So you're pretty flexible?
I would say so, yeah.
Does that just because Oscar's flexible as fuck too? And look at him.
He's very limber. Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, I mean, I still do some of the drills in college because, like, in college, getting taken down is a bad thing. So if I'm on the edge, knowing I'm about to be out of bounds, which is like
Yeah.
a free break, I would normally hit the splits
Oh,
to
shit.
not get scored on to buy myself a little bit of time.
Is that something you were born with? Just flexibility? or
Nah,
you
man,
worked
I like
it?
had to work up. Like anybody, like nobody's born flexible. Like human anatomy. If anybody can prove that wrong, please have it studied. But it's been disproven 100% of the time. Yeah.
What? How did you get there then?
Oh yeah, so like I would do one, I just did my research on freaking YouTube. Like there's this really cool channel called Ramwad Range of Motion Workout of the Day.
Okay.
And pretty much just anything on like if you just research any gymnast athlete or anything, they'll give you the progressions because that shit comes in progressions as well. Same thing in calisthenics. Like you can't just you can't just learn it 1 week and then do it. You know, there's progressions to it.
Yeah.
Like hey, once you're able to bend your leg this way, then you can move on to step 2, which is this.
Yeah.
And once you've learned that for 3 weeks, so like, I mean, it's the same thing. Like, same thing with any athletic ability. Like, nobody was born fast. Like, I was, like, when I first started weightlifting, 100 pounds on the bench press was heavy, or like 315 on the squats was heavy. So like, just keep working at it. Like, there's progressions to everything.
I'm gonna challenge you on that a little bit. I feel like some people are born gifted. Like they're just some freaks of nature.
Like
with,
that,
like,
the
what
most flexible man,
Oh,
that
no.
dude that could like
Yeah.
stick himself through a tennis racket.
Okay, yeah, you do have some freaks of nature about
Outliers.
that, but like,
Yeah,
I'm talking
outliers.
about.
And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Like, yeah, these outliers, like
Yeah,
these people
yeah.
who just, it seems like they're just gifted. Like these dudes don't even have to try that hard, and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
over here like running super fast, wrestling, turning dudes on their heads.
Okay, now with running or wrestling, like you will have a baseline of athleticism, but in order to get to like the world champion level, you do have to work at it.
Yeah.
Like some people are just naturally fast based on like their upbringing or like where they come from, or like capillary density. But you can't tell me somebody that's naturally gifted can automatically run a sub 2 hour marathon. I'm sorry, I'm
True.
not buying that.
No,
But
that's
I will
true.
admit some people are a little bit more athletically inclined than others. Yes, I will admit that.
Yeah, I mean, like Mike Tyson is a good example. I mean,
Yeah.
he had that punch, but if he didn't have the discipline and if he hadn't been trained by the people that he was trained by, he wouldn't have. It wouldn't amount to nothing, right? He could just hit really hard, but are you landing?
That guy was a student of the
They were
game,
saying
dude.
that he
Yeah.
was very accurate, and more importantly, that
Yeah,
he was
he was.
strong. He was just very accurate.
Yeah.
He was determined as fuck, and his coach was incredible. His determination, I think, is the thing that really made him incredible, and just
Right.
the amount of effort he would put. Because this guy would watch tape every single day. Like if you watch his documentaries or whatever, like the amount of dedication that this guy had is just ridiculous, dude. Oh, right now when you're talking also about workouts, I want to ask you about what do you think about HIIT workouts? That seems pretty
HIIT
popular right now.
workouts?
Yeah, so like I said before, it's modality dependent on your goals, right? So are you doing HIIT to burn more calories? Very effective, right? Because you have what's called the EPOC freaking principle, excessive post-oxygen consumption.
Okay.
So that's why when you burn 700 calories, like walking for
Yeah.
a long time, which will take you a fuck ton of time, you can do that in a lot smaller time by doing like a circuit or something. But freaking not only that, but your body keeps burning oxygen later on. So like that effect carries on 48 to 72 hours later.
Nice.
So that's kind of like when you wake up feeling, so like that's kind of like in the morning after you get done, you wake up kind of skinny, a little bit dehydrated. You're like, what happened? I kind of just went home and chilled out for the rest of the day. Where your body's metabolism was still revving after that. That's the reason why some people wake up like that.
That's cool.
Myself included, because that's just one of your body's natural processes. For freaking losing weight, yeah, I think it's very effective in combination with like a good diet. When it comes to powerlifting goals, make it specific. Specificity has always been a term in strength and conditioning, right? So for example, I'm really bad between the bottom of the squat and the top and the middle. So what can I do to help build my explosive power? But okay, I'm gonna go do some 50-meter sprints with some 50 kg freaking kettlebell swings to help get my explosive hinge, because like I said, squat's a hinge movement as well. When you're coming up, you're hinging back. But like if you get stuck in the middle, you probably didn't have enough explosive power to get yourself out there. So for weight loss purposes, make it work for you. For strength athlete freaking purposes, focus on a weak spot in your lifts and kind of just do something on that. Or if you need to lose weight for a competition, that's a perfect way to do it as well, because you're staying strong and you're building your cardiovascular base as well. So I'm a fan. In fact, that a lot of us probably do it and don't know we're doing it.
Yeah.
So
That's really, I didn't know that it carried on for so long after that.
yeah, and that's something that's been proven in scientific literature. Like a lot of stuff's controversial in scientific literature, but that one's a definite. So freaking EPOC, just look it up. Exercise post-oxygen consumption. And there's been plenty of studies where they've taken person A, just walking for a long time, and person B that just got done doing like a really intense circuit. And person B is going to burn more calories over time. One guy might have burned 1,000 immediately, but then after that, his metabolism goes back to base levels. The freaking other guy still burning calories 48 to 72 hours later.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then there's the other ones, right? There's the opposite of HIIT. What is it?
LIS. So you
LIS.
have LIS, low intensity. Fuck. Damn. Yeah. If any of my clients are watching, I'm sorry. So you have LIS, which is like the lower intensity. Then you have moderate, MISS. So you have LIS, MISS, and HIIT. So LIS is like you're kind of like going in. There's plenty of ways to like measure it because everybody's like a different person. But you kind of have like your heart rate. You have what's called your heart rate reserved, and they can gauge it like, hey, are you in the list category or are you in the miss based on this, and that. Then you have moderate, which is a step up from that. You might start to get into the EPOC category, but no, HIIT will get you there every time. But if you're only able to do lists and miss, it's better than nothing. And honestly, like you're still moving your body at that rate.
HIIT is what, like 15 to 25 minutes?
So it's really dependent on, so time is not really something that they measure that. So your body has 3 energy systems. So it has glycolytic system, phosphagen system, and wow, I didn't know I was gonna put my scientist hat on. Damn it. Okay, and then you have the third one that like takes from fat or whatever. I forgot what it's called.
Okay.
That's when you have so your phosphagen system, right? It kind of like comes to the point where you're doing like very high intense activity for like a very short amount of time. Your sprints, anything that's gonna get that EPOC going, it just clicks those in, and then it kind of feeds off this energy system. So everything kind of feeds down into your natural energy system called ATP, adenine triphosphate. That's your body's natural energy source. Now, your phosphagen system is going to hit in when you're doing like high intense cardio. Your glycolytic system, you ever wonder why marathon runners get that second wind? Glycosis is what they call it. So you train your different energy systems, your body's going to take from that. And that's kind of like, so I know that sounded really boring, but like the point I'm trying to take here is that
I'm loving it, dude. Keep going.
Yeah,
man.
so time is not something that now I do believe in work rest ratios, and so does science. Like for any long sprint, you should at least be doing a 1-to-1. Like what time it took you to finish, you should be doing that exact same ratio or more in freaking resting. Because you've seen those douches, they're like, oh my god, I'm gonna be the greatest ever. I don't know what tired is, but you're not getting as much of a workout if you sprint and then wait 10 seconds because you didn't give your body time to recover and then go again. So just keep that in mind. Your body has different energy sources that it uses. So one, do your research more on that, but don't rely on time. And then if you have goals, you can program these other forms of cardio in as well. Like I'll do lists just to get loose before I lift legs. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one you had mentioned about the fat, because a lot of people try and achieve that through ketosis, right? That's what they're trying to do.
dude, I think that's so bad for you, man. So
That keto.
So the third energy system, for the love of God, I
Is it
forgot.
something lipolysis maybe?
Liposuction?
No, so yeah,
Keto-
you're
ketogenics?
you're on the right guideline for that. So after a certain period of time, right, when you've exhausted your muscle glycogen, your body's going to go into your free fatty acids or your lipids, which theoretically they store a lot more energy and energy potential than
Right.
carbohydrates, but your body wants to use it for storage in case of the survival instinct.
Right.
So your body will get to that point provided the programming's right and your nutrition's right as well. So yeah, so your body will. In fact, that's why a lot of marathon runners are skinny because they go into slow glycosis first, and then they hit fast glycosis, and they're like, oh my god, he's out of muscle glycogen. So it's either I'm gonna have to pick between muscle and fat, and they don't have a lot of muscle on them, so fat, and it has a lot of energy potential behind it. Now the science behind these low carb diets, right? So guys, I will admit here, it will give you immediate results. You know, it will switch your body into the fat burning mode, but I think there's a lot of holes in the diet. And the reason why that I say that is like, okay, you're telling somebody to you're gonna lose a shit ton of water at first, so a lot of people mistake that as progress. If you're losing more than 2 pounds a week and you're making these drastic changes in the beginning, something's not right here if you keep doing that. One, you're telling your body to activate these ketones, which is going to make fat your permanent form of fuel. Like, I don't think that's a lifestyle change you can commit to for the rest of your life. In fact, there's a lot of scientific literature that says otherwise. Because a lot of people relapse because once you introduce carbs back into your system, your body's like, I don't know what to do with this. I'm going to become addicted, and then I'm going to store more of it as fat. So, yeah, so I will never be an advocate of that too. Plus, a lot of people kind of freaking mess it up. It lacks a lot of nutrient density. Like, you're not getting a lot of fiber. You're not getting a lot of micronutrients, not just the macronutrients. Like, your main two macronutrients in the diet is going to be protein and fat. So I'm not saying, and plus, like, one, carbs, they fuel your brain too.
Right.
Like,
I had heard though that there was this idea, right, that carbs fuel your brain, but that supposedly your brain actually runs on fats. Is there any truth to that from your experience?
I don't know. I don't know much. I don't know enough about that to make a valid opinion.
Okay.
But what I do know is like I said, ATP is, part of that's glucose, and what's glucose? It's
Because a lot of people who were doing ketosis, that would be one of the, I don't know, like side effects, if you want to call it, mental clarity.
yeah. So I mean, I personally have not done this diet before, but
Okay.
like I've heard some people have mental clarity, and some people have actually had brain fog and what's called the keto fever.
Oh,
in,
wow.
Keto fever. Oh,
in the beginning, so freaking keto fever is that period where your body is adapting to burning fat as its primary form of fuel. It's kind of like the adaptation period, like you're groggy, you feel like your muscles are on fire. Some people describe that sensation.
Irritable.
Yeah, freaking irritable, and like I don't feel like I would have to. I don't want to put my body through that for
Right.
like a short term exchange. Like I think a diet. I hate using the word diet. Like, think about something you can turn into a lifestyle. I don't see
Yeah.
myself freaking utilizing a low carb diet, especially as a performance athlete, as a lifestyle change. And like a lot of people, then it kind of crosses the gray area, like freaking carnivore, right? Like they
Yeah, I was
say
gonna ask you about that.
they get their freaking nutrients through eating all of the animal, right? Like the liver, which yes, I will. So I'm not going to be completely biased on one side. Some people can make this work. They like eat the liver. It's got the vitamin A's and all that other stuff, and then they eat the joints, which has the collagen. Then they eat other organs that has the vitamin C and stuff. But that's a lot of work, That's a lot of research and like a lot of timing. And like I've never seen like an intense CrossFit athlete burning all those calories that doesn't eat carbs. Like I just don't see it. So I mean, not to villainize like those type of diets, but I just don't think it's a sustainable lifestyle.
Yeah. I had tried it one time. I had a seizure.
Oh, you told us about that.
Exhibit A.
Yeah, dude. It was scary. Like I was I was doing pretty high intensity sprints and eating very little carbs and sugar. So that's probably like I don't know exactly what happened. I think I didn't have enough blood sugar. I think that's what happened too. That made me pass
and
out.
like when you so your body stores glycogen in its muscles like a form of energy. Like if you're doing this diet, you can kiss that goodbye. You're not going to have that much enough in the tank. And like
Yeah.
I was talking all my podcast to William Schufelt. He's the Power Ranger. He's the Red Power Ranger, and he runs a company called Primal Body. He's a big fan of the carnivore diet. Like the guy Jack, but like I was talking to him, like even he has his modifications. Like he's like, okay, I'm gonna go for this run. I'm gonna go lift weights. Maybe at the end of the day, I might have X amount of like slow digesting carbs, sweet potato, brown rice. So like, if you're an athlete, you know, if you want to do this diet, you got to modify it if you are going to do it, you know, because there's nobody that can eat 0 grams of carbs every
Right.
single day and expect to be healthy.
And that life sucks, dude. Like,
Oh, hell yeah, it does.
once you start doing that diet and you realize how much shit has carbs, and you're like, I can't eat that.
Yeah, like even some vegetables and fruits have a pretty
Yeah.
high amount.
Dude, it was
so
so
like,
frustrating.
We're Hispanic too, so
Oh, yeah.
it's hard.
Like, say bye to tortillas, to
Yeah.
panecitos, enchiladas, taquitos, gordita, everything that's delicious. You have
Yeah,
to say
and
no.
like in order to get and stay in that state, like you got to be, I forgot what the exact numbers are, but you got to be pretty low every day, like
Yeah.
sub 30 grams, and like
Ultra
I don't know, like
instinct.
one Pop-Tart has 50 already. Like boom, you've already fucked your fucking allotment up.
Yeah.
So
Goddamn Pop Tart.
yeah,
How's the? Do they feed you guys in the military? Like, is it like a
course they do.
strict regimen of
I mean
diet?
I live off post, so I
Oh,
feed
okay,
myself
okay. I was
like
gonna
most
say.
human beings. Yeah, I go to the grocery store and feed myself. Yeah.
Because I was wondering if they keep you guys healthy. Like, what kind of food are they
Oh,
giving
of
you?
course.
Yeah, like of course. I mean, so the enlisted guys they eat at the dining facility, and like
Yeah.
you know, I was in a rush, so I couldn't drive home from work one day, and I just ate there for breakfast. Yeah, it was a pretty well-rounded diet. Like they have like a code. Like green means this is really healthy. They list the facts.
Yeah.
Yellow means moderate, and red means hey, you should eat this seldomly. So yeah, I think the typical soldier has a pretty well-rounded diet.
I've only eaten in Air Force defects and one time Marine.
Yeah, Air Force defects. They got it pampered. Like they got like contracts with Hard Rock Cafe, and they're
Dude, it's insane.
Yeah.
Our gym, I remember on base, our gym was ginormous, first of all, because I was in Nebraska. It's called a field house, and it was literally made out of the hangar where the Enola Gay was constructed. You know
Wow,
what I mean?
yeah,
So,
that's
so
amazing.
it was gigantic. I would say maybe like 70% of it was the actual gym, and then it still had way more left over for like offices and stuff to be built like behind it. It was insane, and we had an Olympic pool.
Yeah.
We had like tennis rackets, and we had it was insane. It was a badass gym. But I remember one time they set up a little cafe area. Could you imagine how hard it is if you're trying to lose weight, trying to stay fit for your PT test, and all you smell is bacon?
Yeah, I mean pretty much. Yeah.
You smell fucking bacon, and like it was like this is not a good idea.
Yeah.
I always throw up when I try swimming for some reason. I think I go too hard. I don't
Swimming's
realize.
awesome, dude. I wish I could swim all the time.
Yeah, like it's
I
low.
love swimming.
It's low impact, like
Yeah.
no impact on your joints. Like freaking running can fuck your joints up
Oh,
if
yes.
you don't if you don't program it properly. Like swimming's great. Like I actually was on the swim team back in middle school. Like swimming's great.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't realize how hard I'm going. I guess, and after I'm done, I'm like, damn, I don't
It's
feel
exhausting, dude, because
Yeah, it is.
you're
Throw
trying to
up.
stay afloat. Like you're just moving. the whole time.
You're trying to survive, and then like there's some events in the military. Like I did this competition one time. I was in the water with my full
Yeah.
uniform. That shit got heavy real
so good. A
quick.
full uniform in the. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
like it
Oh
was.
my
It was to
God.
earn some German badge. You got to swim 100 meters in like under 4 minutes or something.
Oh my god.
And like the first lap is great. I'm like, yeah, let's get this money, freaking Michael Phelps style. And then
Right.
my whole uniform was like, oh shit, this is heavy.
You respect these guys so much more.
Oh
huh?
hell
Like,
yeah,
after doing
dude! Oh,
something-
dude, I was like, yo, I don't think I could survive being a military officer in
Right,
German.
right.
They go hard as shit.
Actually, this brings me back to the whole athlete thing. Like Michael Phelps is genetically
Yeah,
made
he's
for
an outlier
swimming.
for sure.
He's from Maryland, by the way.
Oh really?
Hey, there you
Yeah,
go.
He's from Baltimore.
Yeah, he's an outlier.
Is he a
for
legend
sure.
there?
Yeah, he's also a legend for getting pulled over in Salisbury. Actually,
Oh,
for
yeah?
fucking having pot for freaking smoking pot.
Nah.
But like he's got some, but he's the best Olympic athlete of all time. Hands
true.
Down. Like nobody's been more dominant in their sport.
True, that's true.
Everybody can say USA basketball
Yeah.
team, but I'm like they don't fucking play anybody.
Yeah,
like they
no.
go there with their JV team and fuck everybody up.
He-
So
He, no pun intended, blew everyone out of the water.
yeah, I mean, I mean, like you see this guy lapping people, beating
Yeah,
like the
it was
second place
insane.
guy
Yeah.
by like half a lap, and then he gets out. Like, all right. when's the
Didn't he
next-
do a
Yeah.
challenge where he gave somebody like a full lap, like ahead, and then he was just
That was disrespect
it was
at its highest form.
insane.
All I know is swimming wasn't cool until Michael Phelps.
It wasn't
Phelps came
cool.
out.
Yeah.
I like how Daniel Tosh said about that. He's like, "Hey, I don't watch swimming." He's like, "You mean that thing you instinctively do before you drown?" Yeah, no, that's
Nah, dude, yeah, like this dude has, I don't know what his body
His
looks like. or whatever.
wingspan is taller
yeah.
than
He's
his
got,
height. Yeah.
he has long arms.
And then he has wet feet, I hear.
Does no?
I heard he has gills.
But you
No,
don't
he
really use
doesn't.
your feet all that much in swimming.
You
from
don't?
what I understand. Like
I
you
thought they
do,
used
but you
most.
don't.
Well, your lower body is definitely a propulsion component now. Feet, I mean, but legs, yes.
Yeah.
So you think you're saying that wet feet would not be in that?
Like it
advantage?
depends on what style. Like if you're doing like freestyle, I think it's mostly arms. If I'm not mistaken, isn't
well,
it? From what I don't know, I've talked to like people in swimming, like
Have you ever
high
seen
school.
Waterworld with Kevin Costner?
Water
dope
world-
ass movie,
The
dude.
dude where he like he recycles his
Wet
piss.
feet, dog.
Why wouldn't he just recycle the salt water,
That's
which I don't
disgusting.
understand?
Yeah.
That was a good movie.
He just
I
likes drinking his piss.
I heard that movie was a huge flop. That they invested
It was
fuckload of money
It
in
was.
it, and then but it's a good movie.
Yeah,
I enjoyed the
yeah.
shit
I
out
haven't
of it.
seen it in a minute, but
Low budget films.
I just remember they were like fighting over like a jar of sand. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
What are you watching right now, man? Are you before we let you go? Let's end on a
Hunters? You watch Hunters?
on a nice note.
I watch a lot of comedy shit, man. Like I
Okay,
just
that's cool.
so like I'm a big meme sharer. Like
Did you watch Chris D'Elia's new thing?
I like have a few, but I'm not a really big fan. But like I'm just a fan of just funny ass movies like Harold and Kumar,
Hey.
Tropic Thunder,
Step
like
Brothers.
just Step Brothers is the gold standard. The other guys like I just like to fucking laugh. Life's
Yeah,
funny, like
that's
in
good,
life's
man.
stressful, but I am a meme connoisseur. Like if anybody follows me on Instagram, half my stories are funny ass memes I saw and just post it on that motherfucker.
I feel like those movies that you mentioned, they're not really being made anymore, and it makes me sad.
Yeah, it makes me say, well, actually, not that many movies are going to be made pretty soon.
Well, that too, yeah.
Yeah, but
But,
like
like,
they're
movies
talking
like
about
that.
fucking my Avengers series. That's gonna be hands if it's not up in the next year.
No, but I mean like movies like Superbad, movies
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Knocked Up.
Like give people some comical relief, man.
Like, what's going on, man?
No idea.
I need some of that. Like I watched Dodgeball, I think like 3 days ago.
Oh, Dodgeball's badass.
But then you realize how fucking offensive those movies are.
in terms of what though?
Like they're all like, yeah, dude, that guy's a retard, and that guy's fat, and that guy's
What?
gay.
I mean,
like all these terms, all these terms that are like no longer okay to say. But in that movie, like they use them so loosely, and it's just like,
I mean,
Maybe.
we live in a free market economy. Whatever it gets the box offices. I mean, if you don't like it, just that's why they have rates.
Yeah.
Just don't watch it.
Honestly, you can always gauge how good a movie really is by the fact that if you can't find it like for free, like I can't find Dodgeball anywhere. You have
It's
to
on
pay.
Hulu.
You have to is it now?
yeah,
Is it really?
Oh, never mind. Okay, you just fucking blew my mind
it's a
there.
dope ass movie, dude.
Look, one more thing before we leave, I want to say something because I think just to kind of like bring everything to a close.
Actually,
So
yeah.
back in March of 2014, you posted a tweet that you
What
said
day,
What in
Greg?
the fuck?
What day?
the 24th, I think.
I feel like I've been violated.
At what
I'm just
time?
kidding.
The 24th, I think. I actually have a screenshot.
Oh
of it.
god,
So-
I used to post some dumb shit
So
on Twitter.
no,
I hope
look,
it's
this is
not.
what you do. You said 4 years from now, at this point in my life, I hope all my aspirations become a reality.
That was a good one, Greg.
I want to know how, like, what,
2018. That's 4 years after. And I'm
so I want to know like how close are you, man? Or did
Is that
you do it?
before or after he dated Chandra? Just kidding.
What?
Yo,
I wanted to
y'all-
see- I wanted to seem like a stalker, too.
Fucking weeds with this bullshit. All right, but yeah. So I mean, there's always a saying that I like to say, right? You're always a work in progress. You know, so as long as I feel like I woke up and I earned today, then your story's not over. I'm not where I want to be yet, but that's what the beauty of life. It's not about the destination, but it's about the journey. Like
I love that.
I know this time next year, or actually September time frame, I'm gonna have to leave this marvelous city. Yeah, I know that's sad. And-
September?
yeah, 2021.
Maybe it'll get pulled back because of this pushback.
I'm trying to leave active duty. I'm trying to go reserves, but
There you go.
then I'm so I got a decision to make. I either want to move to Phoenix or Austin, Texas. Just be around a network of the health and wellness community. But I'm just like,
awesome, man.
wow, man, you know what? This is gonna make a great story, and a lot of people give up because they don't see the instant return or like freaking people are gonna judge them. But guys, look. Perspective is everything. Be a chronic optimist here, like I love the people that freaking tell me You know, you're not jacked enough to be a trainer, which you don't have to be because I'm a health coach, dipshits.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
be healthy. You know, being jacked is nice, but if I'm dying on the inside, what's the fucking point of that,
That
you know?
is true.
You know what? Take that negative energy and just use it to fuel your passions. You know, I love when people put me down. I get off on when people put me down, right?
Chris,
you know,
you suck, Chris.
It's the only because I hate it when people say, you know, like he doesn't put enough energy into the army, or you know, he's not strong enough to do this. You know, you'll never do that. You know, you should just go back home and be a farmer. You know, I love this negative energy because it's
Be a
the
farmer.
only thing left that's fueling me. You know, and you should be the same way too, because if you're on a mission to help other people, then are you really that much of a bad guy? I'd much rather be in the position that I am now than be somebody like a Floyd Mayweather or something, right? Has all this money and flaunting it, but doing no good to humanity with it. So guys, just freaking think about that. Your story's not over yet. You know, like whoever said that you had to buy your first house at fucking 23, or you know, accomplish this and accomplish that. You're on your own timeline. You're fucking dangerous, man. Like everybody is their own personal brand, you know. Just you're just waiting to the opportune time, you know. Keep working. I can't say there's been a consistent time except when I first moved here. Like that, like I'll be honest with you, that first month I moved to El Paso, like I was the party animal. And then after that, I was just hunching down, be like, Saturday, I got this mastermind I got to attend. I got this podcast I got to make. I got this people got to train. And you know, just make habits for yourself. You know, you see the really successful people like the Gary V's and all those other guys, you know, they have habits, and that's what separates the champions from the amateurs. You know, if I say I'm doing something at 7 a.m. and something pops up where I make an excuse, then that's not the mental discipline, right? When freaking motivation is a fleeting feeling. When that runs out, just use discipline instead, and then I promise you it's going to get you places.
Yeah.
And if you don't have those people, like I keep my circle small. You know, I have my professional friends, and then I have my party friends sometimes. If I ever do that, you know, like maybe my birthday or when I come home or something. You know, just find yourself a network of people and just cling close to that. And whatever your belief system is, like I'm a religious person at heart, but some people might be more into meditating. You know, like life's not all bad. You know, as long as you're good, you know, you can save a lot of money by not going out. You know, you can be really good financially. You know, just find somebody, especially nowadays. You know, just find somebody. It's cheap to live in El Paso. I'll fucking tell you that right now.
Oh, yeah.
So just make a plan every single day and freaking work it. You know, I'm still a work in progress. You know, I'm hoping a year from now I'll have even more clients, open up a business, deadlift that 600 pounds, squat that 500 pounds. But, you know, you're a work in progress. You're the hero of your story. Just keep being that person.
I think that's really awesome what you said about don't live up to other people's expectations, basically what you had said right there. Having a house by 23, 24, or whatever. I just think about all the people who are living someone else's life because they're like, oh, this is the way it's supposed to be. I should have done this. Because someone else tells them to do it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And how unhappy are you when you're not doing what you want to do? You're doing it because you want to fit in. You're doing it because you want to impress that person. You're doing it because they told you, society tells you should do this by now. And it's like, damn, dude, that must really suck to not be able to be yourself, live your life how you want to live it, you know? Save money until like whatever you want, and then like buy this little house or buy this big house or this car or play music for the rest of your life or whatever the hell you want, you know? Like, there's a lot of things that people don't do because they want to please others, and I don't know. I think that's a huge thing that makes me sad when I see it. But thank you, Chris, man.
Yeah, we appreciate you being here, man. Go to Austin.
Oh yeah, Oscar said go to Austin.
Oscar's endorsing Austin.
I'm taking a trip down there for like my birthday weekend just to go check it out. But like they have all those tech startup companies there. Well, one of my mentors for like freaking online coaching is there. Like he's just saying like Austin's like the melting pot for everything. So we'll see how it goes. Like I want to check out UT. I already checked out the University of Arizona, or was it Arizona State? Yeah, up in Scottsdale. Like that place is beautiful. But like, I don't know, guys. As freaking military members, just don't forget, like you're earning a GI Bill for free, so use it.
Gang, gang. ATM.
Gregorius, you want to sign us out?
Yeah, man. So go ahead and do you have anything to plug? You want to shout out your Instagram? We'll leave everything in the description like we usually do.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, freaking. If you guys want to see like some insane like So I'll leave my LinkedIn and I'll get more serious on freaking Instagram once. So I've got
Okay.
this really nice Sony A7i. I'm probably going to start making informational green content.
That's
But
awesome.
follow me on Instagram if you want. I got my podcast link up there too. But underscore Chris underscore Gonzales.
Okay.
Boom. Freaking LinkedIn. I'll put it in there. Literally my same name, Chris Gonzales, and it should pop up online health coach and all this other stuff.
Dope.
All these other recommendations that people have written me. They've written me some dope shit. I'm glad people think highly of me. That's actually a very gratifying feeling. Athleisure podcast on
Athleisure.
You know what? I don't care if you listen on Spotify. Just leave me a review on Apple. That's what I care about.
That's awesome,
Ranked,
man.
highly ranked on Apple, by the way.
Yeah,
You didn't
God
mention that.
Damn it! I was hoping. So yes, I've been ranked a few times in the past, but it's fell off. It's okay.
No, no,
We're
no,
gonna
no,
fucking
no.
get there.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's an
we go.
accomplishment in
That
itself.
is an
dude.
accomplishment.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
gonna fucking get there.
Got it. Let's do it.
Because like
Let's
you
get
don't
'em there.
understand. Like I'm a goddamn gamer. I'm like 25 feels good, but what does it feel like to be top 10 in Apple?
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll leave my Twitter in the bio too. I mean,
Sweet.
I'm starting to use that more, but don't worry about that. I'm probably just in there talking shit about something. Yeah, guys. If you guys have any like general health questions, shoot me a tip. I always provide the research. I will highlight the study for you. I do this with my clients. I can do that with you too. I will highlight the study for you and shoot it back to you as well because I can understand this is a very weird time health-wise. And yeah, guys, shout out to Elevate Gym. That's the spot. Make sure you go there. When this is over, that's where all the cool kids. That's where you can find me and Jovi and all those people. You know, I think Elevate Gym is probably the best gym in El Paso. If you see somebody doing muscle ups and backflips, that's probably me back there. Come talk to me. Let's have a lift. Let's have a good conversation. Let me take your pictures. Let me take your videos. I need practice
Damn.
too. You know, that's something I can do for you as well, you know, because I am a photographer too. Let me take your pictures for free. Let's take some pictures together. Let's lift some weights. Let's have a good time. I just like meeting
That's
new
awesome,
people.
man.
Yeah, and freaking shout out to these guys, you know, like these. So, like, I love being guest on podcasts because one, it's a lot less work for me, but two, I like to connect with other people. And these guys have something really special going on.
Thank you, brother. Hey, man, we appreciate your hustle, man. We appreciate your time.
Elbow
We
locks.
appreciate
yes,
everything
COVID.
that
Yes.
you're doing, man. You're an inspiration. And yeah, Terricolas, let's make it happen. Irvin, hit us with the outro music because we're out of here. Making sure you guys check us out on Instagram. Make sure you guys check us out on Twitter. Everything will be in the description. We out here grinding it out. This COVID-19 ain't nothing for us, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.